You're in Braves country.
Turned on in San Diego.
Think like me, you can't smoke like me. So don't try and be like me. Let's party together.
There's something kind of about a kid that's never played baseball.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, and flat out deceived.
Why did you get so drunk?
You got drunk. I'm just really exhausted.
What's in that cup?
Rum and Cokes?
Do you have any idea how important this is? We're trying to save the pub call. Really? This is what you're doing? This is what you're doing?
Baseball is a beautiful thing. It's more beautiful in an old park. It's asymmetrical and quirky. But even in a dome with artificial turf, it's beautiful. The way the field fans out, the choreography of the sport, the pace and rhythm of it, the fact that that pace and rhythm allows for conversation and reflection and opinion and comparison.
In right field, the crowd is tormenting Strawberries, singing Darryl, Darryl. Little roller up along first, behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win.
And there's a fly ball deep to left. It's on its way. There it goes. And the Yankees are going to the World Series. Aaron Boone.
Ground ball stabbed by Folk. He has it. He underhands to first for the first time in 86 years. The Red Sox have won baseball world championship. Can you believe it?
It's a pastime, something you do. It's entertainment, something you watch. And it's a shared experience, something you talk about and read about. But you can apply those same three criteria to other things. What makes baseball special is that it's the best game that's ever been devised.
Smith corks one into right down the line. It may go. Go crazy, folks. Go crazy.
Sure as God made green apples, someday the Chicago Cubs are going to be in the World Series.
A little bouncer slowly toward Bryant. He will glove it in front of Rizzo. It's in time. And the Chicago Cubs win the World Series. Cubs win. What a lucky break. The good Lord wants the Cubs to win.
How can you not be romantic about baseball?
If baseball is about caring, about loyalty and rivalry.
Braves fans are on their feet hoping for some kind of a bleeder or a seeing-eye single. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Fastball hit high and deep down the right field line. It's going back, back, back. Is it fair? Is it zip, boom, bam, it's gone! Ram-a-lam-a ding-dong, a 3-run shot, and your Atlanta Braves have taken a 1-run lead. She's gone, baby!
There's a very peaceful thing. It was created and played in pastures and meadows. There's grass, there's outdoors, there's everything that people thought was American and feel about America. You get in a ballpark, and it's the wonder of walking through that dark tunnel and seeing a huge open space where men play the little boy's game.
I believe in the Church of Baseball. I've tried all the major religions and most of the minor ones. I know things. For instance, there are 108 beads in a Catholic rosary and there are 108 stitches in a baseball. I prefer metaphysics to theology. You see, there's no guilt in baseball, and it's never boring. It's a long season and you gotta trust it. I've tried them all, I really have. And the only church that truly feeds the soul day in, day out is the Church of Baseball.
Swung line drive left field. 1 run is in. Here comes Reed. Here's the throw to the plate. He is safe.
You're in Braves country.
If there's a bigger thing going on right now, I don't know what it is. We're down to 1 strike here. Gurriel, the last hope for the Houston Astros. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Swung on, bounced over to Dansby. Dansby fires it over to first, and here comes the dog pile. Fire the cannons in the battery. Do the chop all throughout Braves country. Pop that top. Your Atlanta Braves have won it all.
gentlemen, welcome. We direct your attention now to home plate.
Please remain standing. We call your attention to our bands here today. They will be jointly directed. And now, another fixture, our national anthem.
So proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Play ball!
At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to introduce today's teams as participants in this historic game.
You're in Braves country.
Good afternoon, Braves country. We are doing a special show here today, and this is because I'm not able to be here for the beginning of the Milwaukee Brewers series, and I do apologize for that, but I had a death in the family earlier this year, and we did the celebration on Sunday, and I wasn't going to be able to make it back in time for today. So I will be back for the game on Monday night, card off, but you see from the card that was on the screen that what we are doing today, and what we are doing today is, it's not necessarily the greatest, but it's going to be my favorite players that I ever saw play, position by position. And they do have to be good. I'm not just going to, grab some rando that had one decent season. We might go through some of those if there's time. But all in all, this is a show about position by position, my favorite / best players that I saw play. And we're going to start in around the mid-1980s, for argument's sake. I started watching the Braves in the early 80s, but really started getting into it by the mid-80s. So I do remember the 82 season. I remember the 83 season, et cetera, et cetera. But most of the players that I'm going to be talking about, some will come from that very beginning of the era, but the majority of them will come from much later. Now, with all that being said, we've got a lot to get into and a little time to do it. So I'm going to give you a starting rotation. I'm going to give you a closer. I'll probably give you, if there's time, I'll give you a couple other bullpen pieces. But these are guys that I just absolutely love to watch play. And then, of course, I'll give you the starting 9. And I'm going to give you a couple of guys that I wish could be in there, but I didn't see them play. Or a couple of guys that are just outside of there. But during this, I'd like to see your reaction, because I'm going to go back and read all the comments and whatnot, because I want to find out from y'all who are your favorite players by position. And I think that's what makes baseball special. It's what makes Braves baseball special. We've been watching these for so many years, watching these guys for so many years, and some of y'all go all the way back to the era of Hank Aaron and before. Some of y'all don't pick it up until
the 90s, the 2000s. Some of y'all may have only been a Braves fan for the last 5 to 10 years, depending on your age, depending on when you started to fall in love with the game of baseball. But it really comes down to who is your favorite. There is no right or wrong answer. It's more of a curiosity of who did you love to watch play? Who do you love to watch play? Are they still currently playing, et cetera, et cetera. So, with all that being said, no further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start this off. And I'll go ahead and start it off from the catcher position. We'll work our way to the pitching staff at the end. At the catcher position, I'm looking at a couple of different options. And you could go, I mean, there were so many good catchers for the Braves. Brian McCann is one of the ones that really jumps out at me. He's not the guy that I chose. And you've got some current guys who are pretty darn good. Not for nothing, Travis d'Arnaud has been one of my favorite players to watch. But he didn't make the starting team on my list. My number one guy is going to be Javi Lopez. And that was because when I was growing up and they finally became really good, he was our catcher. And you finally saw a catcher who could hit. You saw a catcher who could field. And you saw a catcher who would come through and in the big-time clutch and really did a great job of help running that team, that pitching staff. One of the greatest pitching staffs in the history of baseball. But I'm telling you right now, we do this 5 to 10 years from now, I'm probably going to tell you it's Drake Baldwin. He's slowly becoming one of my favorite players that I've seen put on a Braves uniform, and I don't know how long. I love his demeanor. I love the way he, goes out there and approaches every single at bat. He doesn't try to ambush pitches. He's a hitter's hitter. He's a guy that waits for the ball to get deep into the zone so he can do, whether he wants to shoot it the other way, whether he wants to hook it. He waits until he recognizes it and reacts. And he's done a great job behind the plate. What Eddie Perez has done to develop him defensively behind the plate is remarkable. And I think before it's all said and done, he's going to be my favorite catcher. But right now, just because the body of work is so small, I'm going to tell you it's Javi Lopez. And for folks who may or may not remember Javi Lopez, I mean, he was a guy that one of the best things that he ever did that I saw from any catcher of any era is he was a master of picking off base runners from the first base side. It really was remarkable. When you would watch him and you would watch him play, and at any moment on a pitch inside to a right-hander, he would turn and fire that ball over to first. And a lot of times catching the runner napping. Sometimes it's just to keep him honest, but a lot of times it was he would catch him napping. And you always had to be aware of that as a base runner because you couldn't just get a big lead and then kind of lackadaisically go back to first base. You had to be on your toes. All in all, he was a .287 batter for his career. That's not nothing. He ended up hitting 260 home runs, 864 RBI, a 3-time All-Star, and for a catcher, that's pretty darn remarkable. He was also the 1996 NLCS MVP. He won the Silver Slugger Award in 2003, and of course was a part of the World Championship in '95. He went into the Braves Hall of Fame as well, and so Javi Lopez is going to be my catcher. My first baseman, I think a lot of people are going to be surprised by this because most of y'all are probably going to say Freddie Freeman. And the way Freddie Freeman left the Braves organization will just always leave a bad taste in my mouth, especially considering the fact that he left to go to the Dodgers. And as a kid, they were the Dodgers, our biggest rival. So I have a hard time putting him there. And I like Matt Olson, but he hasn't quite done it for long enough for me yet. Hasn't been there in the big spots yet. I think eventually he'll probably overtake my first base. But right now I'm going to tell you it's Fred McGriff, the crime dog. Played for the Braves from 93, was traded to the Braves in 93 to 97. He was a part of that World Series team. He's a guy that, look, I know he bounced all around his career, and you can't realistically go with him being just an Atlanta Brave. But you ask most people what they remember, who they remember him as, it's going to be a Brave. Maybe a Blue Jay from 86 to 90. But you definitely don't remember him as a Padre for 2.5 years. Nobody remembers him towards the end of his career where he's bounced around from Tampa, played with the Cubs for a couple of years, went to the Dodgers, finished his career with the Devil Rays. And so I'm going to go with the Crime Dog, 493 home runs, almost 2,500 hits, 2,490. Batting average of 284 lifetime and 1,500 plus RBIs. The Crime Dog, from the moment he got to Atlanta, he was instant offense. And you put him in the middle of that lineup, and all of a sudden we became a very formidable attack. And it was so fun to watch him over those years. And look, honestly, I still like old Freddie. It's just the way he left us. I can't put him on any kind of list. I was a big Chris Chambliss fan, too, to be honest with you. Chris Chambliss was one of those guys that growing up as a kid, I always wanted to meet because Chris Chambliss's dad and my grandfather worked at the Naval Air Station in Jacksonville, Florida together. So that made me immediately a Chris Chambliss fan. Now, I know he's not really known as a Brave. I think most people, if you ask people about Chris Chambliss, I think instantly he's known as a New York Yankee. Played for the Yankee in those years where the Yankees were so dominant in the mid to late 1970s. Chris Chambliss was their first baseman. But not for nothing, Chambliss was with the Braves from 1980 to 1986. So as a kid growing up, he was my first baseman. I knew nothing else. He ended up with 185 home runs, a 280 average, 2,100 hits. He was a solid hitting first baseman. In today's game, it wouldn't quite be enough. You would want a lot more power numbers. But in the 1980s, he was a guy that you loved putting in the middle of the lineup, sometimes a little further down, but he gave you length. And Chris Chambliss, I had to mention him. I didn't want to just skate over the first base position and not mention Chris Chambliss. The second base position, I'm going to be honest, it's our current guy right now. It's Ozzie Albies. And I know he drives us nuts. I know his early swinging. You'll hear me get on to him, and it drives me bananas, mainly because I believe he can do so much better. And though I was always a big Mark Lemke fan and Glenn Hubbard in the 1980s, Ozzie Albies, with his personality and his entire game, I love Ozzie, man. And I'll never say a disparaging word about him as a person. He might drive me up the wall when he's at the plate. And he does. But all in all, you got to love what he has given to you as a whole. And he was a big part of that World Series championship team. Do I think he's flawless? Absolutely not. But Ozzie Albies is a guy that the one thing you know about Ozzie, he's going to give you his all. He's going to be out there hustling. He gets on base. He's automatically in scoring position. Anything that gets to the wall, he very well can go first to home. He's a guy that, look, for his career, he's batting just under 270. It's not terrible. He'll probably finish, by the time his career's done, he'll probably finish somewhere around 300 home runs. That's pretty solid for a second baseman. His RBI total will probably be somewhere above 1,000. And he'll probably end up somewhere between 150 and 200 stolen bases. I think he's going to be one of these guys that falls just short of the Hall of Fame, and it's a shame because I think if he applied himself better and took better at-bats and took every at-bat seriously in a game in and game out, day in, day out basis, I think he's got the tools to be in the Hall of Fame one day. But he doesn't go through those progressions. He tries to headhunt, and that's what drives us crazy. But he's been to the All-Star game 3 times. That's not nothing. He helped us win the World Series in 2021, and you can't deny that. He's been on the All-MLB second team twice and a Silver Slugger Award twice. Ozzie's always going to be my favorite second baseman. A lot of it has to do with just his personality, who he is as a person. I love me some Ozzie. Third base, look, if I was old enough, I'd probably be telling you it's Eddie Matthews. I'd probably be over here telling you that one of the greatest players, offensive players of all time, right behind Hank Aaron, was third baseman Eddie Matthews. And you look at his numbers, 271 lifetime batting average, 512 home runs, 2,300 hits, almost 1,500 RBI. But I never got to see him play. He ended his career in 1968, long before I ever started watching baseball. Started with the Boston Braves, and for most of y'all that follow this channel know that I'm a huge, not just lover of the Braves, but I love the history of baseball and especially the history of the Braves organization. But I never got to see him play. So it automatically goes to Chipper Jones. Now, Austin Riley, he is right on the cusp of being great. He hasn't quite pushed it through yet. I still contend in 2021 he was robbed of the MVP when they gave it, and I mean they handed it to Bryce Harper. Go back and look at those numbers in 2021. The raw numbers, Riley was right there with them every step of the way. And the biggest difference between the reason why I would give it to Riley as opposed to Bryce Harper, because that year when the Braves and Phillies met up, time in and time out, time and time again, Austin Riley outperformed. He owned the Phillies. Bryce Harper couldn't do a damn thing against the Braves. He was brutal. His team missed the playoffs, and all in all, his team failed because Bryce Harper failed. So the fact that Riley doesn't have an MVP isn't necessarily his fault, because he should have been the 2021 MVP. And I don't know if he'll ever get that opportunity again, because Riley's got the type of game that he could win the MVP in a year, but also any year. Austin Riley is more of a guy that's usually going to be in the top 5, top 10 of MVP voting, because there's so many guys who are going to have such bigger numbers that it's going to be hard for Riley to ever be there again. They robbed Riley of it. They didn't have to do that, and there was no reason for it. The only reasoning for it was because the national media, for whatever reason, thinks that Bryce Harper reinvented baseball. But Austin Riley had a much better 2021 year, and he capped it off with the World Series championship. We go to shortstop, and, man, I went back and forth on this one, because my two favorite shortstops to ever put on a Braves uniform were Rafael Furcal and Andrelton Simmons. And, look, Jeff Blauser was great. I was a big Rafael Ramirez fan growing up as a kid. Dansby Swanson was a heck of a player. But all in all, I had to go with Andrelton Simmons, because defensively, I never saw anybody do what Simmons did on a day-in and day-out basis what Andrelton Simmons could do. Now, what I loved about Rafael Furcal, man, that ball got down in the gap. It was almost an automatic triple. That guy did not run. He floated across the baselines. You would see him go from home to third, and his feet never touched the damn ground. He was unbelievably fast. He was a fire plug, and I loved everything about Rafael Furcal. But Andrelton Simmons, man, he made throws that just defied logic. And I hate, when we did the whole rebuild and we traded everybody away, the one guy that I really didn't want to trade away more than anybody else was Simmons, because I wanted to watch him play. I didn't care that he couldn't hit. I wanted to watch that defense grow. And we were robbed of that. We were robbed of that because right as he's coming into his prime, Andrelton Simmons gets sent over to Los Angeles. He was, 4 years into his career? He came with the Braves in 2012, and he was traded away in 2016. And for the next 5 years, he was in an Angels uniform doing great things. I would see clips from time to time, but never got a chance to see on the day-in and day-out basis. He won the Gold Glove in 2013, 2014, 17, and 18. 4 times. He was a phenomenal player that I don't think ever gets talked about enough. And it's a shame that we only got to see him those handful of seasons, because I think defensively, if he stays in Atlanta throughout that duration, we'll just say all the way to the 2020 season, I think we're talking about a guy that the Braves, and look, I understand They end up making a trade. They get Dansby Swanson. He comes in around a few years later. They develop him. By the time we win the World Series in 21, Simmons wouldn't have been around. I get that part of it. But I would have liked to have seen a few more years at him. Rafael Furcal was there from 2000 to 2005, and he wasn't a power hitter. But can you believe this? He actually had 113 home runs from his when did he start? So he played 15 years. He had 113 home runs. I would have never guessed that. I don't know how many of those were inside the Parkers, but those are very rare. So Rafael Furcal offensively was the funnest shortstop we've ever seen. The best shortstop we've ever seen, it's Dansby Swanson. And the best defensive player that we've ever seen at short is Andrelton Simmons. Take your choice. And if you're a Jeff Blauser guy, I get it, but you're remembering that with Braves-colored glasses on because he really wasn't that good. Jeff Blauser's usually hitting at the bottom of our lineup, and he was usually the reason why we couldn't score runs. But all in all, man, Furcal and Simmons, to me, those are the two best. But if you're asking me to pick one, it's going to be Simmons just clearly because of his defense. And I do think defense, especially when it comes to shortstop, is the number one reason why I'm going to pick a guy. So the infield, if you're just joining us, it's Javi, it's McGriff, it's Ozzie, it's Chipper, and it's Simmons. Now we go to the outfield. And the outfield was a little easier, mainly because I never got to see Hank Aaron play. So we put him aside. And you can put King Kelly aside. King Kelly's one of my favorite players in the history of baseball. And he played with the Braves organization that is now the Braves organization in the 1890s in Boston, back when they were the Red Stockings. And he's got some legendary tales. But obviously I can't pick him. I can't pick Hank Aaron. And one of my favorite defensive players to watch my entire Braves fandom is Michael Harris II. But I didn't put him in the outfield either because his offense has just never lived up to it. So with that being said, I'm looking for guys with the entire package because I want the defense in the outfield, but at the same token, we got to score runs. So I'm putting a guy who traditionally played center field, little catcher, but finished his career in the corner outfield, so I feel like I can slide him over there. In left field, I'm putting Dale Murphy, and he's one of my all-time favorite players. I'd say a lot of people who are watching this are going to say the same thing. The Dale Murphy may have been the reason why you are an Atlanta Braves fan if you grew up in that era. Dale Murphy was by far the most popular player in the 1980s. And honestly, Dale Murphy may have been, I don't know if he's the most popular player, but he was one of the most recognizable players, if not the most recognizable player in all the 1980s in Major League Baseball. And it's mainly because of the TBS connection. Because TBS put the Braves on the map in the 1980s. And long before Chipper Jones and the Big Three and the 90s versions of TBS, TBS really took off in the 1980s. So the guy that was on your television screen and everybody's television screen night in and night out was Dale Murphy. And he won 2 MVPs in back-to-back years in 82 and 83. He was a 5-time Gold Glove winner. He won the Silver Slugger 4 times. 7-time All-Star. 6 in a row. He led the National League in home runs in 84 and 85. RBI leader in 82 and 83. He even won the Roberto Clemente Award, which is probably, if you ask him, it's probably the one that means the most to him. He long has belonged in the National Baseball Hall of Fame, and it's ridiculous that he's not there yet. But we put that aside. Dale Murphy is my left fielder. He had a cannon for an arm coming up as a catcher and finished with 398 home runs. And because he finished too short of 400, they've always held him out of the Hall of Fame. He had chronic injury problems at the end of his career that really tailed him off at the end. But nobody hit more home runs or hit more RBIs in the 1980s than Dale Murphy. The Dale Murphy is without a doubt. Before I put anybody else on this list, I put Dale Murphy in on the Hall of Fame. By the way, one guy that I didn't mention, that I probably should mention, third base, Bob Horner. Come on. Bob Horner, man. That was my guy growing up as a kid. Bob Horner was it. And every time I think of Murphy, I kind of think of them together because they were in the same era, and they were my two favorite players along with Chambliss. That was the three-headed monster that I would pull for. That came very, very anytime a Braves game was on, I go running to the TV. I wanted to know when they were hitting. Someone else, too, that now that we're in the outfield portion, I'm going to go ahead and bring his name up. He's not someone that a lot of people have talked about over the years or remember fondly over the years. You know, he only had 164 home runs in his entire Major League career, but he did play for the Braves from 81 to 86. So that whole time when I'm growing up, becoming a Braves fan, every night when I would turn on TBS and Bob Horner was at third and Chambliss was at first and Murphy was in center, Claude L. Washington was out there in right field, and he was one of my favorite players. But he has been since surpassed by the two guys that I'm about to name. I know it doesn't shock anybody. My center fielder is going to be Andrew Jones, and it's not particularly close. You know that I've written the poem, made the video about him. Andrew Jones, I didn't know it at the time, but we were extremely lucky to see that man play center field every single night. Kind of like when we see Harris play center field. That's why I don't complain too much about him being in the batting lineup, because I want to see him play center, because his defensive ability to keep runs off the board with his glove is unbelievable. And so that alone is worth keeping Michael Harris in the lineup every night. But Andrew Jones could do it all. Andrew Jones hit 434 home runs. In one year, he hit 50. The guy fell off for whatever reason. I don't know what the reason was. But he leaves the Braves in 2007, signs the mega deal to go to the Dodgers in 08, and then his career cratered. And that's why he's been such an argument on whether or not he belongs in the Hall of Fame, because of what he did after he left Atlanta. But before he left Atlanta, he was in the All-Star game 5 times between 2000 and 2006. He was a 10-time consecutive Gold Glove center field recipient. That's something. He won the Hank Aaron Award in 05, the NL home run leader in 05, the RBI leader in 05. Andrew Jones will always be one of my favorite players to ever play any sport. He played that center field so differently. As great as Harris is, I never saw anyone better defensively at any position than I saw Andrew Jones. He would steal singles. And for people who are not young enough to remember him, he would go and play so shallow that it was hard to get a single in front of him, because he wasn't worried about you beating him over his head, because he felt like that his reaction time was going to give him plenty of time to prevent a ball from going over his head. So that's my center fielder. And my right fielder, I know this will ruffle some feathers because a lot of people get on him, and I think what you're doing is you are cheating yourself of watching something truly special in front of your eyes. But Ronald Acuna Jr. is my favorite right fielder of all time. I never saw Hank Aaron play. So you have to remember that. I'm not old enough to remember that. When I was growing up, I heard all the stories about Hank Aaron. I've seen video. I know his statistics, but I never got to see him. So if you're asking me my favorite players that I ever saw play, Ronald Acuna Jr. going out to right field every night, I feel like I'm going to see something spectacular. Whether it's in the field, remember that throw that he made from right field the other night? I think it was the Boston series. Unbelievable hose. And then at the plate, you just never know. And he's fun. He is fun to watch. I love this year's home run celebration where he puts his hands over his ears like a grenade's going off. That's funny. That is fun stuff. He's got the personality. He's got all the tools. Hits for power, speed, cannon for an arm. Ronald Acuna Jr. is my favorite right fielder of all time. Obviously, you have to put Hank Aaron in any conversation. I just never saw him. I never saw Harris. I never saw King Kelly, but I love reading about his stories. And Harris, he's right on the outside looking in. If he ever gets it together offensively, it's going to be a tough decision who I would take out of that. And, of course, my favorite designated hitter, we've only had one designated hitter since this whole thing's began, and it's Marcell Ozuna. I still love watching the guy hit. Unfortunately, I think we may be losing him at the end of the 2025 season. Hopefully not. Hopefully we end up re-signing him. But it's been a pleasure to watch that guy hit. He is an absolute machine. The starting pitching, we'll go ahead and hit that real quick so we don't drag this on all day, all night. My starting rotation of the guys that I got to see play, and on the outside looking in, is going to be Max Fried. Not because he left, just because he's just on the outside looking in. Ian Anderson helped win the World Series, but he didn't put it together for a career. Denny Nagel, one of my all-time favorites. Tom Glavine, one of my all-time favorites. But the 5-man rotation that I'm putting out there to watch every day, I'm going to go with Greg Maddux as my ace. John Smoltz is my number 2. Chris Sale is my number 3. I love watching that guy throw that slider. And his competitiveness is contagious. Tim Hudson, I've talked about him before. He's one of my favorite all-time pitchers. I love his personality. Anytime they interview him, they do anything with Tim Hudson, I stop what I'm doing. And Phil Niekro would be number 5 because I love the idea of the knuckleball. I wish it was a little more popular in baseball. Over the years, we haven't seen much of it, but I love the knuckleball. I love there's something about it that is so fun to watch that it's hard for me not to put Niekro on that list. And look, the Braves have had a ton of starting pitchers that I've been big fans of over the years. So this was a hard list to whittle down to just those 5 names. I mean, even on today's roster, you're talking about Spencer Strider. You ask me this 5 years from now and he bounces back and whatnot, Spencer Strider could absolutely be on that list. I loved watching Raylo pitch last year. It was a lot of fun. I'm getting more and more where I'm a big Spencer Schwellenbach fan. And Grant Holmes, I just, when it's a Grant Holmes day, because of the sound bites we do, he's just fun to have out there. I still think when it's all said and done, he's much better as a back-end relief guy. But that's my starting 5. The closer, that's a tough one because I already put Smoltz in my starting rotation. And so I really want Smoltz as my closer if I'm being honest. But because I can't pick Smoltz because I put him in the starting rotation, give me Craig Kimbrell the first time around. The beginning of his career with the Braves. I'm not going to judge him on what he does in the second bout. I'm talking about the Craig Kimbrell from 2010 to 2014, lights out. He was an all-star 11 through 14. Remember the O'Flaherty, Johnny Venters, and Kimbrell combination? That's one of the all-timers as far as bullpen nicknames in the history of baseball. O'Ventbrol was fun. I used to love to see how they were going to manipulate those 3. I'm a big Jesse Chavez fan if we're just talking about guys who are setups, guys who are not back of the bullpen. I liked Colin McHugh until he fell off his final year. That entire night shift bullpen was fun to watch. Even Luke Jackson, for that small time period, he was absolutely outstanding. Will Smith. These are guys that didn't do much around that, but that one year they all put it together. Mark Wohlers was fun to watch until he wasn't. We've had some fun bullpen guys, and you really get to know them and like them or loathe them because you see them almost every other night. Your typical bullpen guy in a 162-game season is going to throw somewhere between 60 to 65 times. So it's not quite half, but it's over a third of the time. You're going to see them about twice a week. But if I have to pick a closer for the entire time that I've watched the game, it's going to be Kimbrell because I have Smoltz in my starting lineup. And yeah, I could have put Glavine, just like the way Freddie left to go to the Dodgers. I'll never forgive Glavine to go into the Mets. He did it for such a small amount of money in the big scope of things. All right, that's going to do it. I didn't want to drag this on all day, But that is my favorite. Oh, and favorite manager, forget about it. It's Bobby Cox, and Leo Mazzoni has got to be my pitching coach. Watching till the day I die, I'll never see anything cooler than Bobby Cox getting madder than hell in the dugout and Leo rocking back and forth. How fun was it to be a Braves fan? How fun has it been to be a Braves fan since the time I picked it up in the 1980s until now? And it continues to be. We'll always bounce back. This is a proud franchise, and I just feel like I got lucky and picked the right team to pull for. I could have picked any team growing up as a kid. Thankfully, I picked the Braves. All right, Braves country. Had a lot of fun doing this one. We'll see you later.
Playing like this will be the laughing stock of the league.
All right, boys, let's get back to basics. This is a baseball. The object of the game is to keep the baseball within the confines of the...
You're in Braves country.
On a beer? 7 o'clock in the morning. Scotch?
Hey, howdy, hi, and how the hell are you? Pull up an armchair, girls and boys, and join us for Braves Country Baseball. You're listening live as the Braves are on the road. We're set to bring you pitch by pitch, play by play of your Atlanta Braves. Hi, I'm Mac McGee. Here's your starting lineups for today's action. Leading off and playing right field for your Atlanta Braves, it's Ronald Acuna Jr. 4 home runs, 7 RBI, batting .304. Batting second behind home plate, Drake Baldwin. 7 home runs, 18 RBI, a .303 clip. Batting third, playing third, Austin Riley. 11 home runs, 35 RBI, 2 stolen bases, batting .279. Batting cleanup, playing first, Matt Olson. 13 home runs, 37 RBI, a .236 average. The designated hitter, Marcell Ozuna, is batting fifth today. 10 home runs, 28 RBI, batting .257. Batting sixth and patrolling center field for your Atlanta Braves, it's Michael Harris II, batting .237 with 4 home runs, 36 RBI, 10 stolen bases. Batting seventh, playing second base, Ozzie Albies. 6 home runs, 24 RBI, 6 stolen bases, batting .232. Batting eighth, in left field, it's Alex Verdugo. 11 RBI, 1 stolen base, batting .250. Batting ninth, playing short, it's Nick Allen. He has 12 RBI, 6 stolen bases, batting .234. On the mound for your Atlanta Braves, it's Chris Sale Day. 3-4 with a 2.93 ERA and a 1.24 WHIP. 73 innings, 96 strikeouts versus 68 hits allowed, 23 walks, 7 home runs served. He'll be going head-to-head with Aaron Savali. who's 1-1 with a 5.19 ERA. A 1.33 whip, 17 innings, 14 strikeouts, 18 hits allowed, 5 walks, 4 home runs served. Backing up Savali in the bottom of the first inning, in center field, it's Jackson Churio. He has 10 home runs, 37 RBI, 13 stolen bases, batting .254. Batting second, behind home plate, it's William Contreras. He has 5 home runs, 26 RBI, 5 stolen bases, batting .244. Batting third, the designated hitter, Christian Yelich. 13 home runs, 41 RBI, 10 stolen bases, batting .233. Rhys Hoskins is batting cleanup and playing first. He has a .266 average with 9 home runs, 36 RBI, 2 stolen bases. Cameron is in left field, batting fifth. 1 home run, 3 RBI, 1 stolen base, batting .194. Sal Frelick is in right field and batting sixth. 4 home runs, 21 RBI, 12 stolen bases, batting .293. Durbin is at third, batting seventh. 2 homers, 22 ribbies, 5 stolen bases, batting .215. Ortiz is at shortstop and batting eighth. He has a .181 average with 2 home runs, 9 RBI, 6 stolen bases. Bryce Terang is batting ninth and at second base. 4 homers, 25 RBI, 15 stolen bases, batting .266. Calling balls and strikes tonight behind home plate, it's Mike McClinsky. Your first base umpire, Emil Jimenez. Second base will be manned by Doug Eddings, and down the third base line, it's Derek Thomas. Doesn't appear to be much chance of rain, so if they leave the roof open, it'll be 65 degrees at first pitch with the wind blowing out to left at around 13 miles an hour. Your Atlanta Braves are minus 160 on the money line. The over-under is 7.5. How in God's name are we a major favorite on the road versus a team 4 over 500 when we are 10 games under? That just tells you how good of a roster we have, and you can make your own conclusions on the leadership. Our pick to click tonight, well, this is a tough one. No one in the lineup has seen Savali in their career, except for Alex Verdugo, who's 3 for 5 with 2 RBI. Should be strangely noted that Sean Murphy, who is not in the lineup, is batting .500 lifetime versus Savali with the home run and 3 RBI. I mean, if there's ever an excuse to put him either at the plate or at the designated hitter position, it really is tonight. With all that being said, we're throwing a dart here against the Brewers right-hander. We'll grab someone high in the order to click. We've been going Drake Baldwin quite a bit, so give me Ronald Acuna Jr. I think he'll get on base early and often, as he is the straw that stirs the drink. Maybe it's time for that drink to be shaken and not stirred. We'll take your Atlanta Braves to get off the schneid. If they don't do it tonight, I'm going to start picking them to lose a 1-run game, because that's all we've seen. Give me your Atlanta Braves to win this one behind Chris Sale and against a weak link in their pitching staff of Savali. Atlanta puts a 6-pack on the board, and we win it 6-2. Remember to be kind to everybody in the chat, and also remember, people are frustrated with this team. They want to vent, let them vent. They want to complain, let them complain. This is what the group therapy is all about. I'm not saying they need to be nasty towards anybody in the chat, but just putting a heads up out there, moderators. At some point when a team's 10 games under 500, they're gonna vent, and rightfully so. And it's all I can do to bite my damn lip. But those venting, we do want to keep it family friendly, so clean up your explicitives. We know what emojis mean, we know what certain things mean, but there are kids that tune into the chat, and we don't want that all over the screen. Remember, it's not a 4-letter word if you don't spell it out. The TV-friendly words are fine. It's the ones that get really ugly that we want to leave out of there. All right, Braves, let's get off the schneid. This is gosh darn ridiculous. That's all I know. God dog it. Just in case I'll heat up the oven around the 7th inning, just in case I have to stick my head in it again. Come on, Braves, let's turn it around. Put your click in the chat, slap that like, and let's get ready, Braves Country. We'd like to thank everybody for choosing Braves Country Radio, and a special thanks to all the country club members. Please like on your way in and subscribe, set those alerts, and share Braves Country Radio to help build the crowd so we can continue to bring you the classic call of Braves Country Baseball. Well, it's about that time. Grab you a cold one. Find you an armchair. Atlanta Braves Baseball right here on Braves Country Radio. Your modern-day superstation is in its 5th season of bringing you pitch-by-pitch, play-by-play of your Atlanta Braves and our one-of-a-kind production. Take us anywhere you go for over 170 Atlanta Braves ball games. Please like and subscribe today. Join the Country Club. Thank you to all the Country Club members. You help support Braves Country Radio.
Get this bus moving. Stop. Come back. Too late.
Roll call! Yeah, roll call!
You're in Braves country.
Good evening, Braves Country. All right, we're just about set. Good to see you, JC. I see Jags. I see John, Robert, Rob T, Raymond. Everybody loves Raymond Lovelace. Uncle Charlie Fritz. Jameson Taylor. Mark Ricky Ricardo. John Boy. Helion. Robert. Iron Lung, good to see you. Charlie Elrod. Gary the Real McCoy. Who else do we have in here today? Uncle James, or King James Hagan. I already said hi to Uncle Charlie Fritz. Who else do we have in here? Jen J. What you talking about, Willis Mathis? Kumar, good to see you. I'm not sure if Kay's in here or not, but Special K's in here. Good to see you. I know you're normally here about this time. Steve Clark Music, good to see you. A big Pendleton fan. I guess one of the reasons why I don't put Pendleton there is because I always think of him as a Cardinal first. Because I grew up watching baseball in the 80s, and he was a St. Louis Cardinal, but he was a lot of fun. Chipper's also from my hometown. SRH. Adam Batman Westbury. Leo, good to see you. Uncle Leo. Remember Uncle Leo from Seinfeld? Braden. Edward Spry. Brian Smith. Mission, good to see you. Truth Handler. See if we got anybody else in here tonight. I'm going to scroll down. I took that all the way back about 40 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and scroll it back down to the bottom. Randall Richards. I think I already said Kumar. Bam Bam. Joyce! I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right. Robledo? I know she's from Mexico or lives in Mexico. I don't know if she's from there or not. She might have snuck across the border. Be careful. They're chucking people left and right. All right, we're going to be right back here on Braves Country Radio, pitch by pitch, play by play on your Atlanta Braves. Hey, Braves Country, Mac McGee here for American Rebel Beer. America's patriotic light lager, all natural ingredients. Stand tall, be proud. The perfect beer to celebrate life, liberty, and your pursuit of the American dream. America's patriotic light lager, offering a crisp, clean, bold taste. Perfect beer to celebrate life, liberty, and your pursuit of the American dream. A beer with only 110 calories that tastes like a full-flavored beer and celebrates like freedom. Hey, Braves Country, this is Mac McGee with Braves Country Radio. We are bringing you pitch by pitch, play-by-play of your Atlanta Braves all year long. Join the Country Club today. Help support Braves Country Radio. Join the Country Club today. It helps us bring you more of the game we all love. Braves Country Radio, your home for the classic call of Braves Country Baseball. Hey, Braves Country, Mac McGee here for American Rebel Beer. From the mountains to the prairies to your pint glass with white foam, we're bringing back beer with a backbone. All that matters in our brew is taste and a touch of American excellence. American Rebel Beer, born in the USA.
Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt our program of dance music to bring you a special bulletin from the radio news.
Sit quietly and we will control all that you see and hear. There is nothing wrong. You are about to participate in a great adventure. You are about to experience the awe and mystery.
You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension, a dimension of sound, a dimension of sight, a dimension of mind. You're moving into a land of both things and ideas. You've just crossed over into
Adventures in Time and Space.
We offer you
Braves Country Radio, your home for the classic call of Braves Country Baseball.
Hi, folks. Join us now for another Braves ball game. Yes, sir. This is the one we've been waiting for. This is it. This makes you feel like it's spring and baseball, no more measles, and free tickets to the circus.
You're in Braves Country.
This is a reminder, disorderly conduct will not be tolerated. Please respect your fellow fan and refrain from any unruly behavior. Failure to comply with these guidelines will result in ejection.
Good evening, Braves Country. We're just about set for pitch-by-pitch, play-by-play. Missed doing this yesterday. Would much rather have been doing this than what I was doing, so glad to be back. Glad to see everybody in the chat. Please share and subscribe. And if you can help out the channel, become a Country Club member. It's just $2.99 a month. About the cost of, it's almost the cost of a gallon of gas is starting to get lower around the country, which is just in time for summertime, right? Is everybody, I don't know how many of y'all are planning on making any trips. The only main trip we're doing is we're going to the All-Star game. Looking forward to that. Atlanta Braves are in their road grays top to bottom. Atlanta across the chest in red, outlined in navy. Same with the numerals on the back. We have the tomahawk underneath Atlanta. We'll be wearing navy ball caps with the white A representing the city of Atlanta. Milwaukee Brewers are wearing their home whites. Brewers across the chest in blue, outlined in gold. It's kind of an off-white, it's not quite white. And dark blue ball caps with the classic Milwaukee Brewer logo on the front. I still think it's one of the best, if not the best, logo in all of sports. We're just about set for pitch-by-pitch, play-by-play of your Atlanta Braves. Let's go ahead and get this puppy started. We are just about set. And yes, sir, it is baseball time in Braves country. First pitch on the way to Ronald Acuna Jr. A little bit off the plate. Wide for foul back for a strike. It's 0-1. Righty-righty matchup. The 0-1 from Savali brings it. Curveball down and away. 1-1. The infield left to right tonight is Durbin at third, Ortiz at short, Terang at second, Hoskins at first. William Contreras, our old Atlanta Brave behind the plate, is the 1-1. Misses a bit inside, but getting the call. Mike McCliskey is your home plate umpire. He gave him the inside strike. Well inside, it's 1-2. So a 1-2 count. Brings it. Another bender. Got some pretty good movement on that curveball, but he's missing low. 2-2. The 2-2 to Acuna. Inside, did that get him? Looks like it may have. I guess he just avoided it. Contreras didn't hold on to the ball, so I thought maybe it had touched Acuna. It just missed him. So a full count. He's set up inside. Swing! Fouls it away. We'll do it again. They were set up on the inside. Pitch missed up top outside. Outfield for the Brew Crew is Cameron, Churio in center, and Frelick in left. The payoff pitch once again. Swing and a miss, strike 3. That time the curveball caught the zone. Acuna couldn't lay off it. It would have been a backwards K. Instead, it's a swing and a miss, strike 1 away. What Savali's repertoire will look like tonight, he is a kitchen sink guy. He has 7 different pitches that he uses. He used to have 8. He threw away the change. But what he is using nowadays, as the first pitch on the way to the drink, swung on and lifted. Lazy fly ball in the center field. 1 pitch, 1 out. Man, he's really listening to Ozzie and Tim Heyer on how to swing the bat there in the first bat. He's been doing that a lot. Quickly 2 away. Savali has a cutter that he uses 37% of the time, a sinker 25% of the time. You know, when he does that, when he swings at that early first pitch, you gotta have to play this.
I told you the drink was bad. I hate the drink.
First pitch on the way to Austin Riley is inside for a strike. It's 0-1. A cutter 37% of the time, sinker 25. Four-seamer at 13% of the time is the 0-1. Misses high and out of the zone. 1-1. He throws that curveball about 12% of the time, mostly to righties. Slider 7%, split 4, and the sweeper is 2. So the split and sweeper are really show-me pitches. 1-1 misses high, 2-1. What you'll typically see out of him is the cutter, sinker, four-seam, and curve. 2-1 count. Swing, rips it, just gets into left field. That's down for a base hit, and it's the first base hit for your Atlanta Braves tonight.
You're my boy, Blue! Blue, you're my boy!
Hanging slider that he was able to pull into left field just over the diving attempt of Ortiz. That'll bring Matt Olson to the plate. First pitch to Olson is swung on and roasted down the first base line. It's 0-1. 1 on, 2 out. Good to see you, Bugs, and Jason up and Adams. The 0-1 count. Fastball swung on, foul back out of play. 0-2. They still have a year of control on Chris Sale, so I wouldn't expect him to possibly be the guy that gets traded, Raymond. This clickbait article, you got to be careful what you read. The 0-2, high and outside, 1-2. So a 1-2 count. I think it's much more likely that Ozuna, who's at the end of his contract, gets traded away. Iglesias, who's at the end of his contract, gets traded away. The 1-2 to Olson. Caught looking, strike 3. Backwards K took it right down the pipe, and that'll end the inning. It was a bending curveball for those of y'all watching the Atlanta monitors. They missed the entire play. We'll be back in a flash here on Braves Country.
Okay, so I am going to be completely honest with you guys, and I am not going to bullshit anymore as to why my wife will no longer be in any more of my videos again. Okay, it is because she has officially served me not only with divorce papers, but what really hurt is that she told me she wishes I was dead.
Babe, what are you talking about? I have not served you with any divorce papers.
I got them right here. I can show it to them.
Babe, that's our annual budget. We're trying to save money.
Yeah, but you specifically crossed out lightsabers.
Correct, because you're not going to spend money on stupid Jedi. We don't have it.
But that's the best defense that we have against the chancleta, and you know this.
Star Wars is just a movie. You are not a Jedi, and chancla is not real.
Really? Mm-hmm. Then how come you haven't killed me yet?
Puñeta, because I'm not going to train another husband.
I'm a Jedi!
Bob was on Johnny over 100 times. I remember after the first show I did, I heard Johnny ask Ed, did that guy really play baseball? And Ed said, I think so. And then I went back like 2 weeks later and did another show. And I did maybe 4 shows in the first couple of months after I'd done the first one. And then, just became kind of like a semi-regular.
Sometimes somebody just gets you, and Johnny just got you.
Johnny built a theater out at the University of Nebraska. So they asked me to come out there and do a show. They sell the place out. I mean, it's sold out with students. After we're all over, one of Johnny's people came up to me. I think it's Johnny's nephew, who's one of his writers and everything. And he said, Bob, did you ever know why Johnny liked you? I said, no, I never did, because we always just got along, He said he liked you because you don't give a
Trump, you feel me? No Biden forever, bro. Thank Obama for everything that he did for me, bro.
Well, he's wrong. He's going back to Haiti.
Welcome back. First pitch on the way is swung on and roasted right up the middle. So it's a leadoff single for the Brewers to start the game here for Milwaukee. Base hit. By the leadoff hitter, Jackson Churio. That'll bring William Contreras to the plate, the ex-Atlanta Brave. First pitch on the way from Sale, drifts inside for a ball. It's 1-0. Chris Sale playing simple. He throws 2 pitches. The slider at 49% of the time, the four-seamer at 42% of the time. He does have a couple of show-me pitches, the changeup and the sinker, where primarily that's what you're going to see. Flips it over to first to keep the runner close by. So 91% of the time you're going to see those 2 pitches. He throws the changeup about 6% and the sinker about 3%. Lefty-righty matchup, the 1-0, smacks the edge, evens up the count, 1-1. Cubs and Phillies are tied up at 1 in the 5th. If they were to trade Chris Sale, and I think it's a big if, they would get an absolute haul. Because he's under control for next year. The 1-1. Swung on, chopped foul, we'll do it again. And anybody that gets Chris Sale in a pennant race is almost ensuring that they're going to punch their ticket deep into October. And if they got some couple of young pieces, especially if one's a big-time prospect, I wouldn't hate it. I'd hate to lose Sale, but I wouldn't hate the general idea of it. The 1-2. Down and away, 2-2. And honestly, he deserves to be on a winner more than anybody else. He shows that daily competitive fire that's lacking in a lot of the others. But the guys, if you start seeing these rumors of guys getting traded with the long contracts, it's very unlikely. The 2-2, runner goes, throw down to second. They got him. Smoke him if you got him. They got him. Good throw by Baldwin. He is looking better and better behind that plate. 1 down. So a full count now. There's a 1-hopper into the glove of Ozzie. Man, Churio did a weird slide. Kind of kicked his arms back, almost looked like a seagull that was going ass over tea kettle. The 3-2. Swing, chops it foul, will do it again. Really weird slide. In fact, they keep re-showing it on both monitors. He stuck his arms out almost like he was trying to slow himself down, like the way a plane puts their wings down as they go to land. The payoff pitch. Swing, fires it back, foul. 95 up top, full count once again. Murphy, once again, will not be traded during the regular season. That would be an off-season move. If they were to trade Murphy, it would. What they might end up doing is they may keep Murphy and keep him as the designated hitter, and then you have him go back and forth with Drake. The payoff pitch, swung on, dribbled foul. So a long at bat here. Chris Sale about to throw his 9th pitch of the at bat. Contreras steps out of the box. Yeah, I would think Ozuna and Iglesias are gone. The only reason why they would keep Ozuna is if they thought that would prevent them from signing him in the offseason, is the payoff pitch. Check swing. It's kind of an excuse me swing. It'll bounce up towards Chris Sale near the mound. He'll jump off the mound, flip it to first. 2 down. And that is a real thing that people don't understand, is that some teams don't want to trade a guy that they want to re-sign in the offseason because they fear that it kind of eliminates that option. Now, with Ozuna's age, who knows? But I do know he's popular in the clubhouse. I know that, you're not going to get much better bang for your buck. As the first pitch on the way is a sinker down and in. It's 0-1. But if they have decided they're not going to bring him back, if they're going to go younger or just in a completely different direction with the designated hitter, then you would obviously want to trade him. The 0-1, swing and a miss, 0-2. Chris Yelich, batting .233 on the year. He's been playing through it, Mark. I wouldn't think that hip issue would prevent him from getting traded. The 0-2, this is high, 1-2. And he's still on track for about 30 home runs. So though I still think he's bothered by a little bit, it's really not going to affect him much because he's not known for his base running and obviously not his defense. The 1-2, swing, chops it over towards first, and that thing's going to bounce off the base, and that'll be a base hit. It was going to be an easy out for Olson, but he had to get the ball off that second bounce. He was too far back to grab it, and when it bounced that second time and hit the corner of the base, something you just don't see that often. I'm really surprised you don't see it more in baseball, considering the shape of the base, and it seems like that the probability would happen much more often, but just a bad luck. It's one of those things when things are going bad, they're going bad. So 2 outs, and Sale will flip it over to first base to keep Yelich close by. Rhys Hoskins, the former Philly, is the batter, standing in with 9 home runs on the year. First pitch on the way. Rams it down the third base line, but foul. Hard hit ball. It's 0-1. Of course, he famously hurt his leg in spring training a couple seasons ago. Still don't feel like he's ever gotten back to where he was. But he is now batting .266, 9 home runs, 36 RBI. So he's much better shape than he was before. The 0-1. Way outside wide, 1-1. The question would be with Chris Sale is what are they going to ask for if they were going to trade him? Because I feel like it's got to be a top prospect or kick rocks. The 1-1, down and in, 2-1. Because a complete rebuild is not going to make a lot of sense with this team. When you've got the long contracts of Olson and Riley and Harris, and you've got several more years left with Acuna and Ozzie. The 2-1 pitch, right there for the outer edge for a strike, 2-2. And by next year, I would expect Strider to be back in full form. And then you get the other young kids on the staff. If they do make that move, I would just tend to think that it's going to be a real head turn. It's not just going to be a couple of prospects coming back. The 2-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him with the 95 high cheese, and that'll end the inning. Brewers get a couple on, but we get out of it. We come back. Ozuna leads us off here in Braves country.
I've been told that the word icy is, like, the easiest word to spell. Now that I'm looking at it, I see why.
Wing to the right is Schubert. Wide to the left is Scott. Hand off to Walter Payton. Sliding to the right side. It pops out of the 30 to 35 to 40 to 45 to 50 and out of bounds. It's taking territory knocked out by Paul Krause at about the 46-yard line. And there's a 28-yard run by Mr. Explosion himself on the very first play of the ball game. Deuce backfield. Avellini to Payton on a sweep to the right side. He's a block. He cuts back into the 5 and struggles down to about the 2-yard line. Well, there's the rushing record. Walter Payton becomes the all-time single-game rushing leader in the NFL. 275 yards for Walter Payton.
So I just rolled a joint. I bet you're jealous. Well, don't be. It was my ankle. I'm old. If you can relate, you should probably give me a follow.
Don't you love when you have a few minutes to waste so you scroll and it ends up being the best 4 hours of your day?
Hey, boy, this hoe got me up. This hoe talking about she finna stay tonight because it's too much snow on her car. Please. You gotta go.
That is a large part of Fuger's personality. He just doesn't give a shit. For somebody to be on as many times as Euchre was and to score a home run every single time, that is unheard of. For somebody to be on a Tonight Show as many times as Euchre was, gave him a chance to market who he was and what he could do. And rest assured, they wouldn't have come to him with any of the other things if he hadn't been on the Tonight Show.
I was producing Saturday Night Live in the mid-'80s, and I had these baseball lovers who were among the stars of our cast, particularly Billy Crystal.
What are your plans for today?
Same as always. Drink 3 cups of coffee and then be sexy.
Welcome back. Raymond talking about the Yankees making a move for Sale, I guess. Yeah, the Yankees don't have the prospects, Raymond. First pitch on the way is a cutter up top for a strike. Marcell Ozuna, it's 0-1. The 0-1. Slider misses outside wide. Called for a wide strike, number 2. It's 0-2. The 0-2 count, Ozuna, 10 home runs on the year, 28 RBI. 93 out wide, 1-2. So when I'm talking about making a move, and Helian, I don't know what you're talking about with Profar, but he's not going to be moved. It's the 1-2, down and away, 2-2. I don't know if that was your point, is that he's not eligible for the postseason. Because of that, nobody's going to want him. But also, you just signed him to a deal that he hasn't done anything with. So, I mean, good luck with that. The 2-2 count. Swing, fists it into center field, right center, and it's going to get down for a base hit. And the Big Zoo is on the board with the base hit. Kind of punches it out there. Pokes it into right. Right center, kind of that Bermuda Triangle between right center and second. Well, when you talk about making a move, I'm talking about for Sale to go to your team. Man, can you believe this? Ozuna's doppelganger's in Milwaukee. First pitch on the way. A sinker right there at the knees. It's 0-1. I'm really starting to like that guy. I don't know if he's got family out there, but he's in Milwaukee dressed like Ozuna. In the stands. Braves need to start just putting him in the dugout. The 0-1. Swing. It's 0-2. Cutter up top. But for us to make a move, it's got to be for one of the top prospects in baseball, because Chris Sale, you're going to give a guy who's Cy Young, the defending Cy Young champ, away for 2 postseasons to a real contender. As the 0-2 misses up top, 1-2. You got to be realistic on who would actually do that. So, like, for instance, Bubba Chandler is the number 2 prospect in Major League Baseball with the Pirates. Well, the Pirates aren't going anywhere, so they're not making a move. There's no way, as the 1-2 pitch, swung on, hit back up the middle, that's going to get through. A worm burner through the hole, and your Atlanta Braves have runners on first and second, and nobody out. All right, Money Mike.
They know about that.
God bless you, Mike.
Okay.
Keep your game tight.
Never know. You know what I'm saying? I got a little razzle dazzle.
Good hard hit ball just right over second base. Defense was on a shift, but they couldn't get to it. First pitch on the way to Ozzie Albies, a cutter up top. Misses high. It's 1-0. The 1-0. Fastball, top shelf, 93, 1-1. One count. Brings it. 90. Just hit the top of the zone, 1-2. The 1-2. Volley comes set, turns and flips. Curveball just kind of smacks it. Kind of a check swing. Moore playing pepper with it to stay alive. We'll do it again. One-two. Ozzie batting .232 with 6 home runs. Savali steps off the bump. But this isn't a tear it down kind of situation with the Braves. It's a team that's played bad baseball for the first almost half of the year. The 1-2 swung on and lifted high into right center field, going back, making the running catch as the second baseman Terang. He'll flip it back to second. Ozuna back in plenty of time, one away. This is a team that a lot of folks thought would be in the contention for the World Series. So whatever they do, it's going to be minor moves here and there, but it's going to be more of cleaning house, trying to get as much prospects as you can. But let's just go for the argument that they end up trading Chris Sale. I could never see this happening in the same division. But the type of thing you would want is the first pitch on the way. It's 92 at the knees. Verdugo, it's 0-1. Is in Andrew Painter from the Phillies coming over for Chris Sale. He's their top pitching prospect, their top prospect. And the Phillies probably feel like they're a starting pitcher away of being flat out dominant. The 0-1. Swing and a miss, chased a cutter out of the zone. 0-2. That's extremely unlikely that it happens in the same division. The 0-2 count. Now, one guy that is interesting to me if Texas got aggressive is Sebastian Walcott, who's the number 9 prospect. The 0-2 pitch, 93 inside, caught looking, strike 3. Verdugo backwards quick K. Too many of those in 2025 for the Atlanta Braves. 2 down. Sebastian Walcott is the number 9 overall prospect in baseball, and he is listed as a shortstop / third baseman. Well, obviously, you put him at short. Texas is right there contending for the West title, so but whether or not they would be that aggressive is a question. First pitch on the way to Nick Allen is swung on and lifted high into center field. Warning track power, that'll be an F8 in your scorecard, and that'll end the inning. Braves put a couple on, can't do a single thing with it. When we come back, Chris Sale goes back to work. We are in the bottom of the second.
Most people think the U.S. Navy was created with congressional approval of a Continental Navy on October 13th, 1770.
You shut up!
Most people think the U.S. Navy was created with congressional approval of a Continental Navy on October 13th, 1775, during the American Revolution. However, it was December 22nd, 1775, that the idea became a reality. The Continental Congress appointed Esek Hopkins as the Navy's first commander-in-chief and adopted the first naval regulations, primarily authored by John Adams. Adams, a passionate advocate for naval power, worked tirelessly to persuade Congress to establish the Navy, draft its regulations, and allocate resources. While the Navy initially began with just 2 ships, the Alfred and Columbus, Congress soon authorized 13 vessels, forming a modest but determined fleet. The Continental Navy played a vital role in the war, disrupting British supply lines and protecting American trade. Though small in comparison to the British Royal Navy, it set the foundation for American maritime strategy, ultimately leading to the creation of the United States Navy, keep the sea lanes open and protect American trade.
All right, maybe I wasn't the greatest player of all time, but fans, they forgive and forget. When I go in here, they'll be buying me my favorite beer, light beer from Miller. You, Bob Euchre? Yeah, how you doing? These fans, I love them. They know us ex-big leaguers drink light because it's less filling and it tastes great. Well, can't keep the gang waiting. Fans are always joking.
Some ex-athletes are pretty good actors. Most are barely passable. Uke was a natural.
Give me 2 cases, you can have this baby. Come on. 1 case. Nope. A 6-pack. Half a can.
The big league light beer, Miller Lite, where less filling tastes great.
Okay, I'll give you 2 cases, and you don't have to take the card. But that's my final offer.
He knew just what was necessary for these commercials.
You know, one of the best things about being an ex-big leaguer is getting freebies to the game. Call the front office, bingo. And once these fans recognize me, I probably won't even have to pay for my light beer from Miller. Down in front! I love them.
That front row spot. That's a catchphrase now.
Good seats, huh?
You're in the wrong seat, buddy. Come on.
Oh, I must be in the front row.
I don't care where I go. I mean, even on airplanes. I must be in the front row.
Welcome back. First pitch from Sale. It was a fouled off strike. It's 0-1. Cameron, the number 5 batter, fouls off the second pitch up in his kitchen. It's 0-2. So one of the more interesting ones, I just don't know. They've been so high on this guy, Leo, and I'm probably going to mispronounce it, but number 3 prospect in all of baseball is the San Diego Padre. Is the 0-2. Down and in. Instead, he held up 1-2. Leo DeVries, or Leo DeVries, or Vries. Not sure how he pronounces it. Anyways, Leo, number 3 prospect in all of baseball, and he's a shortstop. And tell me that wouldn't fix some things. The 1-2 right there, caught looking. Strike 3, backwards K, got him with the slider, 1 away. That's the main thing that I look at when I start looking at guys that are viable options, is are they on a team that's contending, and do they have a shortstop available? First pitch on the way to Sal Frelick is banged over to first. This time Olson's on it. He'll step on the pillow. 2 down. Marcelo Mayer is a shortstop. Just came up for the Red Sox, and that would be great, but they're not having a good enough year. St. Louis has a shortstop by the name of J.J. Weatherholt. He's the number 18 prospect. It's Caleb Durbin coming to the plate. Lefty-righty matchup. First pitch on the way. 94-mile-an-hour fastball. It's 0-1. Milwaukee has Jesus made, but they're not known to spend money. The 0-1 pops it up. High in the sky, can of corn. Ozzie, he's underneath it, and that'll end the inning. 1, 2, 3. We go to the top of the third. The top of the order due up for your Atlanta Braves.
I wasn't flirting. I'm naturally adorable. If you have a problem with that, take it up with God.
Garlic bread is my favorite food. I could honestly eat it for every meal. Or just eat it all the time without even stopping.
You get fat.
No, why would I get fat?
Bread makes you fat.
Bread makes you fat?
Everybody grown until it's time to communicate, apologize, or tell the truth.
I think Hamon Cleveland was the best home run hitter I ever saw. He hit 47, 48, 49 home run every year.
Oh, he really hit that. One team that would not contend in 1967 was the New York Yankees, but Mickey Mantle would give Yankee fans one memorable moment to savor as he became just the 6th player in history to hit 500 homers.
Here it goes! It's out of here!
Mantle had finally become the favorite son of New Yorkers after struggling to live up to the legendary Joe DiMaggio. This was something that Red Sox outfielder Carl Yastrzemski could relate to, as he had been trying for 6 years to replace a Boston icon.
Taking over for the greatest hitter that ever lived, Ted Williams, and the pressure on him was tremendous.
Williams was very outspoken, very opinionated, very talkative. Yastrzemski, on the other hand, was kind of shy, kind of withdrawn, kind of introverted.
Being a youngster at 21 years old, I would like to have come into the big leagues, been unnoticed, and not taking Ted Williams' place or being called the next Ted Williams. I think it would have made it much easier for me.
He wasn't hitting for power. He had 300 batting averages, 1 batting titles, but the fans still weren't viewing him as this is the Yaz we expected. They wanted 30, 35 home runs, 120 RBI, plus the batting, plus everything else.
Braves Country Radio, your home for the classic call of Braves Country Baseball. Welcome back. First pitch on the way to Ronald Acuna Jr. is a sinker inside. It's 1-0. Righty-righty matchup to 1-0. Hanging curveball. 1-1. That's the pitch that he got Ronald to strike out on his first time up. 1-1 count. Savali at 36 pitches, so he's okay on that front. The pitch. Cutter misses high. 2-1. Braves nothing. Brewers nothing. The 2-1 pitch. Misses high and inside. 3-1. Three-1 count. Savali turns and brings it. Outside wide, ball 4. So we start the top of the third inning with a leadoff walk by Ron Acuna Jr. And the Drake will come to the plate. Righty-lefty, Drake popped up on the first pitch he saw. His first time up, the first pitch there is a curveball. Hanging in there for a strike, it's 0-1. When you swing at that first pitch, you kind of let the pitcher know you're not going to swing at the first pitch in the second at bat. That's why you really tie your hands together when you do that. The 0-1, swung on, chops it over towards second. That's going to be a double play. They're just going to get Baldwin. He was hustling down the line. It took the second baseman, Terang, a second to realize he needed to flip it to Ortiz. But it's going to be a 4-6-3 put out, 2 down. They just got him. I don't know what I think Terang was thinking about doing it himself. There was no way he was going to be able to tag the bag and turn and fire and get the runner. So that'll bring Austin Riley to the plate with the bases empty once again. Riley singled his first time up with 2 outs in the first, the 1-0. Down and away, 2-0. Two-0 count. Now the teams that have guys that are ranked high on the list that are in contention is the 2-0. Swing and a miss, 2-1. The reason why I throw the Yankees out there, I forget who brought that up. The New York Yankees, their highest position, their highest prospect is ranked number 41 in baseball. Unless they're going to give you something else to make it worthwhile, they're kind of out of the conversation. 2-1 misses outside wide, 3-1. Arizona's got an infielder by the name of Jordan Lawler, and I don't know if that means he can play shortstop or not, but he's high on the ranking at number 4. He's a 3-1, swing and miss, 3-2. But they would have to be in it. Tigers have an outfielder by Max Clark, but do the Braves really need an outfielder at this point? The payoff pitch, swung on, fouled away, we'll do it again. If you did trade for an outfielder, you'd be trading away one of your outfielders to fill some other void because you don't really need an outfielder per se to start the 2026 season. In theory, you've got Acuna in right, Harrison center is the 3-2, pops it up. High in the sky into right field, easy catch for Frelick, and that'll end the inning. Braves go down in order once again, 1-2-3. We'll be back in a flash. The Brewers send 8-9-1 to the dish when we return.
Your biggest red flag?
I don't know. I drink too much and I black out.
You black out?
I black out.
When's the last time you blacked out?
Like last week. No, I'm sober right now.
You're not sober right
yes,
now.
I am.
I'm looking at you.
All my life, I'm sober.
Okay, ask me a question then.
Okay, what's your deepest insecurity?
That I have a bad personality.
You have a great personality.
You don't know me.
I love your personality.
Thank you so much.
I don't even know who you are. I just tell you have a great personality.
I'm a little drunk. Can I ask you a way worse question?
Of course.
Would you do?
Nah.
Why?
It's too small.
I don't think that matters.
It does matter.
Oh, you gotta give him that hawk too and spit on that thing. You get me?
Today we honor Willie Mays' wonderful career. He is the only player to have at least 50 home runs in a season and 20 triples in a season. Even more impressive, it happened only 2 years apart. He was always in contention for the MVP award, receiving MVP votes in each season from 1954 to 1966, a stretch of 13 years. He was an extra base hit machine, hitting at least 70 extra base hits in 13 straight seasons. His 18 All-Star games as a starter is the most for any player in Major League Baseball history. Some say they invented the All-Star game for Willie Mays. He is the best center fielder of all time. His 12 Gold Gloves are the most by any center fielder. He is the only player in MLB history with at least 3,000 hits, a .300 career average, 300 home runs and 300 stolen bases. He had 4 home run titles, 4 stolen base titles, and 1 batting title. He also led the NL 5 times apiece in OPS and slugging percentage. He was the first player in Major League Baseball history to hit 50 home runs and steal 20 bases in the same season. He finished 6.6 WAR shy of the all-time mark for position players, despite missing most of the 1952 season and the entire 1953 season while serving in the U.S. Army. It didn't matter the situation, he always produced, batting over 300 at home, on the road, against right-handers, left-handers, and every month with the exception of July. He had 17 20 home run seasons, 11 30 home run seasons, 6 40 home run seasons, and 2 50 home run seasons. To say, hey kid, thank you for all you did for the game.
Welcome back. So that's one of the reasons why Chris Sale is going to be so hard to move. Here's the other thing that you have to look at with the Sale situation, the 0-1. Mrs. High 1-1. A lot of folks may not realize this. Chris Sale, next year, it's a club option for just $18 million. That sounds like a lot of money, is the 1-1, Mrs. Outside Wide 2-1. But $18 million is what they are. It's actually a little less than that. A little less than the number that they give you as the 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, 94 up top, 2-2. When you put the qualifying offer on a player and he accepts it, I believe last year it settled in at 18.3. It's the 2-2. Swung on, roasted down the right field line. That is into the corner. That's going to be a leadoff extra bases. Ortiz will slam on the brakes and stay at second, but it's a leadoff doubles for the Brew Crew. Got a pitch up high in the zone. A little bit out of the zone, actually, but he was able to get his bat on top of it and shoot it towards right field. Not a pitch you would tell a kid to swing at, but it worked out for Ortiz in that spot. So the number 8 hitter with the leadoff double, Ortiz, tell you what, he took a wide turn. I don't think he realized how on it Acuna was. They almost picked him off from behind. First pitch on the way is a 4-seam fastball to Bryce Terang. It's 0-1. It's probably, so $18 million, I guess what I'm getting at is to trade him away for next year at $18 million, when he's definitely a top, is he 0-1, misses high and inside, 1-1. When he's definitely a guy that is a top 3 left-hander in baseball, you would have to be blown away with the offer to trade away Chris Sale. The 1-1, down and away 2-1. So that's really what I'm getting at when these people put out these articles and they say, hey, so-and-so is going to be traded. I don't really think that they do their homework and think about, man, if you do trade him, you're going to have to get one hell of a prospect back, or 2. The 2-1, good slider on the outer edge, 2-2. It's not impossible that he gets traded, but it's highly unlikely. 2-2 count. They better fix that shortstop if they do trade him. The 2-2 swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him with the slider. 1 away. I'd want a top prospect of either a pitcher or a shortstop. But somehow, some way, I'm moving some things around so that next year I have an actual shortstop playing short. I'm not going into the year hoping for a career year out of Nick Allen. I'm not going into the year hoping that an Orlando Arcia type can duplicate their numbers from the year before. I want a true shortstop that can get on base. He doesn't have to be a home run hitter, but he's got to be a good, solid hitter with a decent OPS. First pitch swinging, hits it high and deep. Jackson Churio gave that thing a ride, but it's going to be caught by Harris. Ortiz will tag up, motor on down to third. So they got the go-ahead run 90 feet away, but there are 2 outs. Harris had no real chance to get Ortiz. Ortiz got his good speed. Harris was deep into center field. Pretty good throw nonetheless by Harris. That'll bring William Contreras to the plate. The left-hander Yelich is on deck. First pitch on the way to Contreras. Swing, rips it up the middle, and that'll score the run. So the Brewers take a 1-0 lead on an RBI single by William Contreras, a guy that I think everybody in Braves country will admit we never should have traded away. It's a little surprised that they pitched to him in that spot, that they didn't pitch around him and then go after the lefty Yelich. They were playing him to pull on that left side, so Allen did his best, but he couldn't get to it. First pitch on the way to Yelich is a swing and a miss strike at the slider. It's 0-1. Yelich singled his first time up, but it was a good luck single as the ball hit the bag at first and kicked away. The 0-1 right there at the knees, 0-2. I understand that Yelich at one point was an MVP, but I got Sale going up against a lefty. That's the chance I'm gonna take. Not pitching to Contreras. He's by far their best hitter. The 0-2 swing and a miss, strike 3. Not saying it would have happened, but if they had walked him, look what could have happened. We'll be back in a flash here on Braves Country. The Braves trail by 1. See if we can get back in this when we return.
You know, I'll either post my way into your friends list
You
or
shut
into
up!
your block list. There is no in between.
Paging all baseball fans to the ER because this is the story of how George Clooney was almost a Cincinnati Red. The year was 1977, and the Reds had just come off back-to-back World Series titles, and they were holding tryouts at the team's facility for the upcoming season. At the time, Clooney was regarded as one of the nation's top high school players as a 16-year-old, and he thought this would be his ticket to the big league. After his first tryout failed, and he did make the team, he tried to give it another shot and attended a second tryout. Prior to the second tryout, he worked to improve his arm and his speed, two things he knew the scouts would be looking for, but there was one problem. He could hit a fastball, and he was very good in the field, but he had one giant flaw. He couldn't hit the curveball. After taking an 82-mile-an-hour curveball near his head, he knew baseball wasn't his thing. Although he didn't make it to the major leagues, I think he had a pretty good plan B.
I promise y'all, ain't nobody seen me at my lowest or seen me look the worst like my local Dollar General.
Then to wind up in that bad seat where I was, way up at the top of Dodger Stadium.
Good seats, hey, buddy. He missed the tag. He missed the tag.
All that front row stuff, or he missed the tag, all those things have become part of Americana. They really have.
Ladies and gentlemen, the newest addition to the great monuments at a great ballpark, the real Bob Uecker front row statue.
That commercial got lots of attention, including from a well-regarded director in Hollywood who was about to cast his latest movie.
I had seen him in the Miller Lite commercials, and I thought he was incredibly funny. I knew that he had that. Just there was something about his whole persona that suggested Harry Doyle to me. Harry Doyle was a combination of somebody I imagined and just thinking about Bob Uecker.
I'm so proud of myself. I got 8 hours of sleep. It took me 3 days, but I got 8 hours.
Welcome back. First pitch on the way to Matt Olson. 91-mile-an-hour sinker, high and out of the zone pitch-out territory. It's 1-0. The 1-0. Misses Hyde. Called for a high strike, 1-1. 1-1 count. Brings it. 89-mile-an-hour cutter gets ahead at 1-2. Savali, 52nd pitch of the evening. 1-2 four-seamer, 2-2. We'll hit your out-of-town scoreboard here in a second. The 2-2 from Savali. Down and in, curveball, full count. Olson struck out his first time up. The payoff pitch. Up top misses. Ball 4. So a very close call there at the top of the zone, but it did appear to miss. Matt Olson will head on down to first. Marcelo Ozuna, the batter. Righty-righty matchup. First pitch. Tried to get a chase a cutter off the edge. It's 1-0. Braves trail 1-0 on an RBI single by William Contreras. Man, can you imagine that 1-2 punch? If we had Baldwin as the 1-0, did that ball hit? That ball hit the big zoo. Hit him at the top of the arm. Appears to be okay. I think it just skipped over him. But he'll head on down to first, and we'll have it once again. Runners on first and second, and nobody out. Got him just at the top of the knuckles is where it got him. First pitch on the way to Michael Harris' second is a good bunt. They fired down to first. They'll get Harris maybe by a quarter step. Good bunt by Michael Harris, moving the runners over. All right, small ball. Let's get it. That might be the most exciting play they've had all week. In a week. Good bunt by Harris. He was busting it out of the box. He came so close to beating that out. That'll bring Ozzie Albies to the plate. Righty-lefty. Tying run at third with 1 out. First pitch is 92 inside. It's 0-1. The 0-1. Brings it, misses high. Cutter, top shelf, 1-1. The 1-1 pitch, 92 high and out of the zone, 2-1. Braves nothing, Milwaukee 1. 2 on, 1 out. The 2-1 to Ozzie. Cutter just hits the outer edge. 2-2, evening up the count. So a 2-2 count. Now you can't keep the bat on your shoulders. You're Ozzie, you got to defend the plate. You're trying to find a way to get Olson home. Deuce is wild here. 2 on, a 2-2 count. The infield is willing to give up as the 2-2. Swing, fouls it straight back. We'll do it again. Now they're starting to creep in a little bit, but at one point they were willing to give up the out. Now that they've creeped up a little bit, if Ozzie can get one on the turf and hit it hard where they ain't, he could score 2. The 2-2. Outside wide, 3-2. Standing on deck is Verdugo. He struck out his first time up. The 2-2. Swing, pops it up. Can of corn. Another disappointing at bat by Ozzie Albies. F5 in your scorecard, 2 down. The new prospect for the Boston Red Sox, Roman Anthony, if you're wondering, he is 0 for 2 tonight as the Red Sox trailed the Rays 3-1 in the sixth. Other scores around the scoreboard, out-of-town scoreboard, you got the Reds 5-3 over the Guardians in the seventh. As Verdugo stands in, first pitch, hanging curveball, right there for a strike. It's 0-1. Pirates 4-1 over the Marlins there in the fourth. Cubs and Phillies 2-1 Philadelphia in the seventh. The 0-1 brings it, swing, fouls back the cutter, quickly 0-2. Blue Jays lead the Cardinals 2-0 in St. Louis. Later on tonight, you got the A's at the Angels, Dodgers at the Padres. That should be a fun one. And the Mariners are at the Diamondbacks. The 0-2 count to Verdugo. Swing, chases the curveball and spoils it away. You know, we've seen him being Savali, the starting pitcher for the Brewers. We've seen him start a few hitters the second time through the lineup with the curveball. So it's just to get me over curveballs. The 0-2 misses high, 1-2. We saw him do it with Acuna. We just saw him do it with Verdugo. And he did it to Mike, but Mike dropped the bunt. 1-2 count. Misses high, 2-2. My point being, first pitch, if you want to sit on a curveball, because it's a hanger that he throws, that's not the worst idea in the world. And then if you don't get it, you just don't worry about it. You just take the pitch and move on with the rest of the bat. Because you can't really sit on a curveball with 2 strikes, because if you don't get it, you're not going to be able to react. The 2-2 count. Brings it. Caught looking, strike 3. Another backwards K for Verdugo. Contreras clowns him at the plate, which is kind of funny. That'll end the inning. Verdugo needs to be for Gongo. We'll be back in a flash.
Y'all, back when I was a kid, I couldn't stand watching anything with subtitles. Now I literally need them because I can't understand anything them people be saying.
Brother, first time hearing this joke, and let him hear this joke, test out his mentality right here. So you had these 2 dudes. They was dating, but their relationship was kind of rocky. So one of the dudes wanted to spark, add some flames to the relationship, so he went and got this little game. Came home, the other one came from work. He said, listen, I got this game. We're going to play. It's supposed to help spark our relationship. He said, okay. He said, what I got to do? He said, you got to take off all your clothes, and I got to blindfold you, lay on your stomach. He said, okay. He reached in the new game, pulled out a feather. He said, you got to guess. When I touch your body, you got to guess what it is. He said, okay. He rubbed the feather on his back. I said, is that a feather? He said, damn, you got me. He said, now we got the switch. He took off all his clothes, he blindfolded, switch. So the other dude, he wasn't getting nothing out the box. He wanted to be slick, so he ran outside when he got a water hose. He took it and rubbed it across his bedroom. He said, damn. He said, a water hose? He said, damn. Hey, you got me. So they switched. He laid back down, and he tried to be slick now. He said, all right. He ran upstairs. He went to the bathroom, and they went and got the, No. Then they went and got the, oh, you played this game before?
This is 6 things you didn't know about Darrell Eugene Strawberry. Number 1, Strawberry and Howard Johnson are one of only 2 teammates to have ever gone 30 home runs, 30 stolen bases in the same season. Number 2, in 1988, he hit a 525-foot home run that struck the roof of Olympic Stadium in Montreal. Number 3, he had 2 3-home run games in his career. Both came against Chicago teams, and there were almost 11 years to the day between each of them. Number 4, he was the starting right fielder in 5 straight All-Star games, and he appeared in a total of 9 All-Star games, including 8 in a row. Number 5, his 252 home runs with the Mets is a record that still stands. Number 6, let's not forget he was part of the 1992 Springfield Nuclear Power Plant softball team that went on to become the 1992 city champ.
Chris Sale goes back to work. First pitch on the way is a 77-mile-an-hour slider on the outer edge. It's 0-1. The 0-1 lefty-righty. Brings it. 91 up top, 1-1. 1-1 count. .94-mile-an-hour fastball misses well inside. 2-1. Chris Sale sitting at just 4 strikeouts so far. I believe his over-under in the desert was 8 tonight. Is the 2-1. Swing and a miss, 2-2. So he'd have to pick up the pace a little bit, but not too much. What's dumbfounding is that Savali, who's not a strikeout pitcher, has 4 of his own. And the lead, the 2-2 count. Rhys Hoskins struck out his first time up. He steps out of the box, gets back in. The 2-2. Did he go around? Did he check down the line? He did not. First base umpire Neil Jimenez says no dice. Full count. The payoff pitch from Sale brings it. Swing. Slaps the slider foul down the line. Every time there's a job opening in Atlanta, everybody wants to give it to Chipper Jones. It's the stupidest thing in the world. That dude doesn't like to do anything except get drunk and get on X and talk smack about people. He's not going to become a full-time anything. The payoff pitch, caught looking, strike 3. Bender on the outer edge. Slider. 1 away. Number 5 on the night. He's a Gator fan, and he got drunk recently and mouthed off about the Tennessee Volunteer baseball team. Then he tried to backpedal it the next day after the hangover kicked in. First pitch on the way is a swing and a miss strike. It's 0-1. But he's done that a few times over the last couple of years. He's gotten just blotto and started talking nonsense and then tries to dial it back the next day. The 0-1 misses high and outside, 1-1. He got into it with somebody during the offseason, like football season. I can't remember who it was. He was just going nonsensical. It's the 1-1. 4-seam fastball, 1-2. 1-2 count. Cameron 0 for 1 on the day. The 1-2. Caught looking, strike 3. Another slider. Knee buckler. 2 down. Honest engine. If Chris Sale gets traded, as long as he doesn't go to one of our rivals, I'll be excited for him. I'll be pulling for him. But we better get a haul back. I don't want to see 3 or 4 prospects that are 18, 19 years old, and we'll see them in about 2032. First pitch on the way to Frelick is right there. This down, they say, for a ball, it's 1-0. That was right in the middle of the plate. The 1-0 chops it over towards Olsen, but foul. Right of the first base foul line. 1-1. That's the worst call that Mike McClinsky. He's called a decent game all night. That's the first one that has just been atrocious. The entire ball was in the strike zone, and it was 2 inches high of what you would consider the bottom of the strike zone, and 3 inches inside of what you would consider the edge. The 1-1. Sale brings it right there. Make that make sense. That slider grabbed the very bottom of the zone. Maybe 15-20% of the ball. It was a strike, but barely. Same spot, 3 inches shorter, or 3 inches lower than the first called ball. The 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. That man just strike out the side. Yak him. He's got 7. At least there's still something fun to watch around these parts.
Something that's not a cult, but seems like a cult.
People that eat sushi.
All the ways you could cook fish, you chose none of them. Nope, you eat it raw and wrapped in its own habitat. Then you dip it in something looks like green Play-Doh, tastes like the center of the sun. Who hurt you?
Could NFL guys play in the NBA? Could NBA guys play in the NFL? And then
This conversation been following us
everywhere. Do you guys feel like baseball players would be the best?
Name me an NFL
player who could come out here and hit 300 or hit 20 home runs.
Tell me one who can hit a slider.
I just faced this man named Waldron, and he threw a knuckleball.
Brother, come on. And listen,
Tell
none
me
of
how
that.
many Rangers swore a sinker, bro. I
No,
swear.
they're not hitting that.
They ain't hitting none of that. We'll say it like this. I could go be a quarterback. I can go throw that thing.
And I'm gonna go and listen.
And he gonna go get it.
I need a circuit. Take all football players, basketball, baseball, and do like 7-on-7 flag football, basketball game.
Then they go around, and when they get to the baseball, put the machine on 95 and see how much of them gonna hit a homer. None. I know baseball players who could dunk 360. So baseball has the best all-around coordination. I would say, yeah.
Hey, Mom, we're running a little bit late, so I don't know if we're going to have time to stop at Buc-ee's on the...
We stopping at Buc-ee's.
But, Mom, we might be
We
late.
stopping at Buc-ee's.
Yes, ma'am.
This is the history of the bullpen cart. The first bullpen cart was a little red auto used by the Cleveland Indians in 1950. The White Sox would take it one step further the next year and become the first team to transport the pitcher from the bullpen all the way to the pitcher's mound. In 1959, the Milwaukee Braves used a locally produced Harley-Davidson topper with a sidecar as their bullpen cart. The Mets would follow suit in 1967, but add an oversized team hat to the top of it. In the early 1970s, the Yankees used a Datsun 1200 painted with pinstripes. The Mariners began using one in 1982 that looked like a tugboat and was called the MS Relief. The last Major League Baseball team to use a bullpen cart prior to its reintroduction in 2018 was the Milwaukee Brewers when they phased out their motorcycle in 1995. In the last 7 years, the Diamondbacks, the Tigers, and the Nationals have reintroduced bullpen carts.
First pitch on the way to Nick Allen is right there for a strike. It's 0-1, cutter on the outside. Get fouled back. The 0-1. Swing, another pop fly. He doesn't even have warning track power. It's an F8 in the scorecard. One down. So quickly one down. And that'll send Ronald Acuna Jr. back to the top of the order. On deck is Baldwin. See if the Braves can get something going here. Braves scoreless. They've had 3 hits. It's the first pitch. It was a hanging curveball. Ronald tried to tie that one up. Just sliced it foul. It's 0-1. Count. Brings it. 93. Misses high. 1-1. The Cubs have tied the Phillies. They're in the 8th. 2-2. 1-1. Called for a wide strike outside. 1-2. I would complain about that pitch. It was off the plate, but the first ball that was called on this at bat was inside the zone up top. So maybe a makeup pitch. The 1-2, swing, lifts it high and deep, going back on the track. Zip, boom, bam, it's gone. Ramalama ding dong, a solo shot, his 5th of the year.
Bravo.
The Braves tie it up 1-1. 8th RBI.
Bravo.
404 happy feet. And Acuna took a fastball.
Bravo.
On the outer edge and just slammed it over the right field wall. First pitch on the way to Baldwin. Swung on and fouled back. It's 0-1. The 0-1. Righty-lefty matchup. Baldwin trying to get on base for the first time. He's 0 for 2 on the day. The 0-1. Takes a sinker right down Main Street. Man, oh man alive. 0-2. Oh, 2 count. Brings it. Swings at one well out of the zone, nowhere near the zone. Strike 3. Baldwin took one right down the pipe for strike 2. For strike 3, he expanded the zone by about 3 inches high and outside. First pitch on the way to Austin Riley. That ball is swatted down in the right field corner, or right center field corner, excuse me. It's going to come off the wall. It gets down where the green grass grows, and Austin Riley has himself a 2-out double. How about that?
You're my boy, Blue! Blue, you're my boy!
Out there in right center field where it kind of dips out, jets out right there where there's like a corner lick. That ball comes off the wall. Good play by Chury as he fired that ball into the infield. And looks like that's going to be it for Savali. I do know they have a quick hair trigger finger when it comes to their bullpen. We'll be back in a flash here on Braves Country. Your Atlanta Braves tied it up. We'll see if we can get some more in. On this date, 1920, after a lengthy argument about a questionable call of a ground ball double over the third base side with home plate umpire Barry McCormick, Cincinnati Reds manager Pat Moran and several players returned to their positions to resume the contest. Cincinnati center fielder Ed Roush, growing bored after a few minutes of the prolonged debate, decides to take a nap on the outfield grass and gets ejected for delay of game when he doesn't wake up promptly. On this date, 1927, Tony Lazzeri becomes the first New York Yankee to hit 3 home runs in one game, including a 9th-inning blast that ties the game. The round tripper closes a 5-run deficit, and New York comes back to beat the Chicago White Sox in the 11th inning, 12-11. And on this date, 1961, Eddie Matthews, Hank Aaron, Joe Adcock, and Frank Thomas hit 4 consecutive dingers in one inning off Reds pitcher Jim Maloney and Marshall Bridges as they gave up 2 apiece, making the Braves the first major league team to accomplish the feat. 7-inning big fly barrage by Matthews and 1 by Warren Spahn still aren't enough when Cincinnati still manages to win the Crosley Field contest 10-8. Welcome back. DL Hall will be the reliever, the left-hander. Was at one time trying to become a starter, but that has not worked out for him. First pitch swinging by Matt Olson. That ball is blasted deep into center field, going back on the track. Zip, boo, bam, it's gone. Ram-a-lam-a ding-dong, a 2-run shot, and your Atlanta Braves have put 2 more on the board. A 2-run home run by the Ice House.
Hello from Plank Road Field. Smooth as it gets.
Ice House, always smooth, never watered down.
14th home run of the year.
We must win today. Losing is not an option.
417 happy feet. I think if that wall is there, it goes 517 happy feet. First pitch on the way to Marcelo Ozuna is popped up. And that'll be an easy can of corn over there into just behind second base bag. Catch being made by Terang. 2 pitches by DL Hall, 1 and out. But the one before that was a 2-run shot. We'll be back in a flash here on Braves Country. The Braves lead it 3-1.
I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than a frontal lobotomy.
So nobody's going to speak on how a whole new created football team just popped up for Washington, D.C. over the weekend. Now, I'm not the biggest football fan in the world, but I've never heard of the Washington Commanders. Come on now. They literally pulled that out of their ass. And I feel like this was all set up by Trump because, of course, their colors are red and white, and they play for Washington, D.C. When did Washington, D.C. get a football team?
It's for you to know it so that you can communicate it to the people here, to your clients, to whomever.
Oh, okay.
What?
It's whoever, not whomever.
No, it's whomever.
No, whomever is never actually right. Well, sometimes it's right.
It's a made-up word used to trick students. Obviously, it's a real word, but I don't know when to use it correctly.
It's whom when it's the object of the sentence and who when it's the subject.
That sounds right.
Well, it sounds right, but is it?
How did Ryan use it as an object?
As an object.
Ryan used me as an object.
I was doing a game at Comiskey Park, and David came in the booth and told me they wanted to talk to me. That they had this role in this movie.
If I hadn't gotten Euchre, it would have been strange. I don't know quite what I would have done.
Hello again, everybody. Welcoming all you friends of the feather. Major League is one of those movies that it's not going to win any Academy Awards, but you can watch it 100 times.
If I'm flipping channels and I get to Major League, I don't care what's on, I'm going to watch it.
That's one of those movies where, you're sitting at home and it's on and you might come into the middle of it, but you remember it and you can't wait for certain scenes to pop up again.
And Euchre, without Euchre, the movie isn't half as good.
Post-game show is brought to you by Christ, I can't find it. The hell with it.
Bob is so brilliant with extemporaneous thought and humor that I'm sure that a lot of the lines were never written by anyone except by Bob.
David gave me that. Whatever you want to say, use it.
Every once in a while he'd say something and I go, that's fantastic. It's not in the script, but it's great.
Welcome back. First pitch from Chris Sale is a slider outside the zone, inside the zone. It's 1-0. The 1-0 inside. That almost gets number 7 hitter Durbin in the knee. Four-seam fastball, 2-0. Sale's been given a 2-run lead. See if he can hold on to it. The 2-0. Swing, pops it back foul. 2-1. Two-one count. Sale brings it. Swing, pops it up. High in the sky. Bending over towards the first base dugout. It's going to go into the crowd about 2 or 3 rows back, 2-2. If you're just joining us, the Braves have hit 2 home runs in the 5th inning to take a 3-1 lead. A solo shot by Ronald Acuna Jr. and a 2-run blast by Matt Olson after a 2-out RBI, or a 2-out double by Austin Riley. The 2-2. Trying to get him to chase the slider off the edge. 3-2. 3-2 count. The payoff. Swing, pops it up. High into the outfield. Drifting over, making the catch is Michael Harris II. 1 away. F8 if you're keeping score at home. First pitch on the way is a slider. Out and away, it's 0-1. One thing I would say, if the Braves end up not trading Sale and realizing having such a great commodity at such a low price next year, is the 0-1 fouled away, it's 0-2. I would, if the Braves are out of it, I'd like to see them shut him down fairly early in September. And maybe space out his starts quite a bit. There's no sense of putting any wear and tear on his pitch arm if you're not in it. The 0-2. Swing, rifles it back foul. You can come up with a ghost IL to shut him down for the season. With the 40-man roster in September, you don't even have to do that. The 0-2, swing, pops it up, high into foul territory. Easy catch by Matt Olson, quickly 2 down. But for me, he has become must-see TV when it comes to the Atlanta Braves. He's appointment viewing or listening, however you consume the Braves. It's a game that if you're a Braves fan, but you don't watch it every night, I would think that you try to tune in when Sale tunes in. Sale's excuse me. First pitch on the way is a 94-mile-an-hour single to Bryce Terang. It's 1-0. Terang struck out his first time up. 1-0. Lefty. Swing, rattles it foul. I'd like to see Sale sit at 68 pitches. He might flirt with the 8th inning today. We'll see what happens. Depends on how quickly this next inning or so goes. The 1-1, swung on it, swatted back foul. It's 1-2. You would think they would go to the slider at this point on a 1-2 and a left-hander. That's what they did last time. He dove out of the zone chasing it. 1-2 count. Comes set, brings it. They went with the slider outside, but it was well out of the zone, 2-2. I'd still be tempted to go back to that same pitch, see if he'll get himself out. The 2-2 from Sale. Turns and spins it. That slider high and inside, 3-2. Baldwin was set up closer to the inside of the plate, but that pitch missed high and inside. So a full count now. You don't want to go to the top of the order. We'll see what he dials up here. The payoff pitch. Slider just misses outside. So he'll head on down to first. A 2-out walk will extend the inning. Sale now up to 72 pitches. That'll bring the leadoff hitter, Jackson Turrio, Turrio's 1 for 2 with a single and a fly out to center. And it was hitting deep. First pitch on the way, it swung on and roasted down the third base line. It's on. He seems to have a good beat on Sale's delivery. And I believe the number was 3 for 6 lifetime coming into this game. So he's right on point there, now 4 for 8. The 0-1 count. 87-mile-an-hour changeup. It was right there, did not get the call. Bad call by home plate umpire Mike McClinsky. The 1-1. Swing, rattles it foul down the right field line. Just foul, Few feet right of the pole. One of the fans stuck up and got the ball, but it had the distance to go if it stayed straight. So a 1-2 count. They've gone slider, changeup, and then back to the fastball. The 1-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him with 96 heat up top, and that'll end the inning. Chris Sale has a 3-1 lead. We go to the top of the 6th. Braves grab the sticks.
I just watched the video. This girl from the UK was showing like their best meals that they got there, and everything looked horrible. Somebody commented and said, "Do you need some money?"
It's not not a scam at all. I also had reservations in the beginning, but these super berries grow in the Andes Mountains, okay? Alpacas can survive entire winters on this shit. Great question.
So is that the only superpower you get, surviving winters? Because I've survived many winters without these berries.
No.
December 23rd, the beloved poem A Visit from St. Nicholas was first published anonymously in the Troy Sentinel, a New York newspaper, in 1823. At the time, the tradition of St. Nicholas was fading and primarily celebrated only in Dutch-American households, with children leaving out their wooden shoes the night of December 5th in the hope Sinterklaas would leave them candy, not a lump of coal in the morning. The poem revived and transformed the image of St. Nicholas, presenting him as a jolly, plump old elf riding a sleigh pulled by reindeer loaded with a bag full of toys for good little boys and girls, creating the modern image of Santa Claus we know today. Nearly 20 years later, not happy with how the poem was being misclaimed, Clement Clark Moore came forward to claim authorship, saying he wrote it to amuse his children, though some debate persists over its true origin. The poem, now the cornerstone of our holiday tradition, brings the magic of Santa Claus to millions each Christmas season. Today we call that poem The Night Before Christmas.
Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
When I saw him throw that ball, that's the first thing that came to my mind.
I knew it was funny. I didn't know it would become, part of the lexicon of sports talk.
Every ball player, and the ball player could have been born after the movie came out. Doesn't make any difference. Ball player walks out to him just a bit outside.
Just a bit outside.
Just a bit outside.
Usually when an actor gets a day off, they take the day off. But the days we were shooting with you, a lot of the actors would show up and just stand behind the camera and watch it. They were so entertained by it.
Low, and Vaughn has walked the bases loaded on 12 straight pitches. Boy, how can these guys lay off pitches that close?
Michael Harris II will start us off here in the 6th inning. D.L. Hall, the left-handed reliever, fires a cutter up top, fouls it away. It's 0-1. Michael 1 for 1 with a single and a sac bunt. The 0-1. Swing, fouls it down the line. It's 0-2. 0-2 count. Braves lead at 3-1. Hall tries to get him to chase the slider down the way 1-2. Standing on deck is Ozzie. In the hole is Verdugo, but if Hall is on the mound, you'll expect to see Eli White. The 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Blew him away with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. 1 down. Saw one of those clickbaits this morning rumoring Michael Harris being traded. Like, who's going to pick up that contract? What are you talking about? We know how good he is defensively, but most teams are going to make a move for a guy that can put some runs on the board. First pitch on the way to Ozzie Albies is high and outside. It's 1-0. The 1-0 swing rips it into left field. That's down for a base hit. Cutting it off, backhanded is Cameron. So Ozzie will stick to one back. It's a 1-out single for the Wiz. Good piece of hitting there by Ozzie. Tried to sneak one inside. He just ripped it down the left field side, just past the third baseman.
I'm the Wiz. I'm the Wiz. I'm the Wiz. I'm the Wiz, and nobody beats me.
Eli White will be the batter. And I'm assuming D.L. Hall looks like he is going to stay in. Lefty-righty matchup. Eli White batting .237. 2 home runs on the year. First pitch. Swing and a miss. 94-mile-an-hour fastball. It's 0-1. We'll put the screen on the action cam in case Ozzie decides to take off. Infield. Back into the left. They are in double play position. As the 0-1 misses outside 1. Outfield, fairly deep, playing him straight away. The 1-1. Swing rips it down towards the left field side. That's going to be caught by Cameron for out number 2. 2 down. Nick Allen will be your batter. Allen 0 for 2 on the day. First pitch on the way. Cutter off the edge for a strike. It's 0-1. Same two teams back at it tomorrow night, 7:40 first pitch. Grant Holmes Day, the 0-1. Misses. 1-0. Allen just trying to keep that line moving with Ronald Acuna Jr. standing on deck. 1-1. Swing, another pop-up. Should be an easy play for Contreras in foul territory. It is, and that'll end the inning. So 3 really bad at-bats by Nick Allen tonight. We'll head to the bottom of the 6th, clinging to a 2-run lead.
I just want 2 minutes on my own without people irritating me!
If you were to make a list of games that Gen X got banned for future generations, you would probably start with Dodgeball, Jarts, and then right up there in the top 3 is Red Rover. Red Rover was a special game where you would have 2 teams lined up on opposite sides of each other and you would link arms and you would sing a little song. Now listen, if you were the fat kid, this is when you came in clutch. You went from the kid that nobody wanted other teams to the first round draft pick at recess. When your name gets called, it is your job to run top speed. Your only job was to get decimated. Kids would like break their wrist and dislocate their shoulders. Lots of concussions because you'd hit that double clothesline and just after recess, kids would be walking in like ice packs. One kid's walking like Vince McMahon, and you know he won Red Rover just by the way he's walking. Come back next week when I try to explain smear the without getting canceled.
A South Carolina country boy, he had learned how to bat from a Confederate veteran who had learned his baseball from Union soldiers in a northern prison camp. He had hoped to be a pitcher until he broke a batter's arm with a wild pitch. Jackson could neither read nor write, but he could hit. 408 in his rookie year. 356 lifetime, the 3rd highest average in history. His home runs were called Saturday specials because most of the textile workers' games in which he got his start were played on Saturdays. And he hit them with a special 48-ounce bat, Black Betsy, made for him by a local lumberman from the north side of a hickory tree, and darkened with coat after coat of Jackson's tobacco juice. Ty Cobb himself thought Joe Jackson the greatest natural hitter I ever saw. He was called Shoeless Joe because he was said once to have been spotted in the minors playing in his socks when new shoes proved too tight.
Welcome back. We start off bottom of the 6th, William Contreras standing at the plate. First pitch on the way from Willie is well inside for a ball. It's 1-0. Chris Sale sitting at 77 pitches, the 1-0. High and wide. 2-0. 2-0 count. Braves clinging to a 2-run lead. I got to read you a tweet here in a second that just floored me today. The 2-0, right there at the knees, 2-1. Braves lead at 3-1. We're in the bottom of the 6th. The 2-1, right there. Slider up top, 2-2. This is from a Braves beat writer earlier today. The 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Chris Sale, strikeout number 9. Good night, Irene. One away. First of all, I think I failed to mention earlier, Nacho Alvarez is beginning his rehab assignment. So everyone got all excited in Braves country about that. So he could possibly come in and play shortstop. The first pitch on the way is a swing and a miss strike. It's 0-1. Just want to remind people he didn't look good when he came up last time. He batted 100, had an OPS under 600. And though it was a small sample size of the 0-1, slices it foul, it's 0-2. He's not much more than a younger version of Nick Allen, meaning he has no pop. If he can get on base regularly, that's fine, but he's not gonna be the answer at shortstop. He just isn't. The other news today was that A.J. Smith-Shawver officially underwent Tommy John surgery. I'm wondering if he decided to do Tommy John because he's the 0-2, swing and a miss, strike 3, got him. He went around and they checked down the line both times. 10 strikeouts for Chris Sale. So the Braves announced it, said that he'll miss the remainder of the 25 season. We won't see him till 2027 on any real. There's no way if he gets Tommy John surgery in June that he's back for anything except spring training in July. Spring training in 2027. First pitch on the way to Rhys Hoskins is inside for a ball. It's 1-0. 1-0. Down and in. 2-0. They always try to tell you it's a 15 to 18 month recovery. All right, well, even if it's 15 months, you're talking about right there in October. You're not going to roll him out there into the playoffs. The 2-0 up top, 2-1. So best case scenario is he's back in 2027. But this was the tweet that I was referring to as the 2-1 from Sale. Swing, fouls it back. 2-2. He was saying that because someone was pointing out the fact that it's time to get a new manager. That's pretty much all he said. And these Atlanta media guys, they are just nothing but tongue baths. Is the 2-2. Hammers it down the third base line. Foul. Do it again. It is nothing but a big tongue bath for anyone high up in the Braves organization. Because they're afraid they're not going to get interviews if they don't kowtow. But he said, no, a manager doesn't turn around struggling players. What? Players didn't stop liking or respecting Snicker. I'll finish that when we come back. That 2-2 pitch is a swing and a miss, strike 3 to Rhys Hoskins, and that'll end the inning. Chris Sale has 11 strikeouts, 90 pitches. We may see him for inning number 7. We'll be back in a flash.
Hello, I'm Charles Daniels. For years, we've been taking you to villages like this and showing you the heartbreak of families whose only mistake was being born poor. They need your help, and for only
$2.99
a month, you can provide
the Country Club for Braves Country Radio.
Ask for more. Sorry? Ask for more money. Why are you starting so low?
Don't get greedy. Ask for $2.99.
As you can see, these villagers are desperate for your help, so don't hesitate. Dial the number and send over
$2.99
a month. That's all we need.
Start higher. I know, right?
$2.99
A month may not sound like a lot, but it can mean so much to
Braves Country Radio.
It's not even a round number. I'm just saying, why not start at
$2.99
a month? That's all these people need to survive. And they'd be so lucky and appreciative to get it. So for the price of a cup of coffee.
You talking about all they need to send is the bare minimum to keep us alive.
How you gonna save our lives with only 39 cents? Because I'm trying to do the math in my head, but I just can't see it.
$2.99
This is plenty.
He keeps saying
$2.99
Why you keep saying
For the price of a cup of coffee.
why it can't be the price of an Arizona iced tea?
Because it's not the price of an Arizona, it's got to be coffee.
It don't, though.
Plus coffee is way more expensive than
$2.99
You know, for a starving village, you people have a lot of energy.
Hey, how much was that coffee?
It doesn't matter.
I bet you don't even know what country you in.
I do know what country I'm in.
What country you at? What country you at?
Braves Country Radio.
Hey, if you want to see this cheap-ass white man again, you better send us
$2.99.
cash right now. Don't hesitate.
Welcome back. Ronald Acuna Jr. was first pitch swinging. He bangs one on the ground over to third. It's going to be, or over to short, I should say. It's going to be an easy 6-3 put out. One pitch, one out, one away. DL Hall now to face Baldwin. Baldwin takes the first pitch high and inside. It's 1-0. 1-0 count. 95 inside and high, 2-0. Baldwin 0 for 3 on the day. Looking to get on base for his first time. He struck out, double play and a fly out. The 2-1, the 2-0 is right there for a strike, 2-1. Reds lead the Guardians 7-4. They're in the ninth. Pirates 8-2 over the Marlins, the 2-1. Swing and a miss, 2-2. Cubs and Phillies are tied up at 2 in the ninth. Rays over the Red Sox 6-3 in the seventh. The 2-2. Just misses outside, full count. The payoff pitch. Pops it up, back behind home plate. We'll do it again. Blue Jays still lead the Cardinals 2-0 there in the sixth inning. Here it is 3-1 Atlanta. We're in the top of the seventh. Pitch on the way. Down and in, ball 4. So though he didn't get a base hit, he does get on via the walk, and maybe that'll get something started here in the top of the seventh inning. Drake walks aboard. Austin Riley, the batter, first pitch on the way. Right there at the knees, it's 0-1. If you're watching on your TV screen, they have it wrong. There is an out on the Atlanta Braves feed. They're showing us no outs with a runner on first. There is an out. 0-1. Swing. Rattles it foul. It's 0-2. That's the first big gaffe that the Braves feed has done today. And for a road game, that's actually pretty darn good for them, to be honest with you. The 0-2 count. Righty-lefty, the pitch to Riley, swing, rattles that back foul, do it again. Riley is 2 for 3 with a single, a double, a run scored. Braves and Brewers tomorrow night, 7:40. We'll come on the air about 7 o'clock. It's Holmes versus Priester. The 0-2 pops it up. Over in the first base side, making the catch just past the first base dugout is Reese Hoskins. 2 away. Quinn Priester. See what they get out of him. He's got a 3.88 ERA. I remember him coming up with Pittsburgh, and he was getting shellacked. It looks like that they've kind of turned him around. They've been getting a good solid 5 innings out of him every start. Low strikeout guy, but pretty good ERAs. The first pitch on the way to Olsen is down and away. It rolls back halfway to the backstop. Contreras jumps on it fairly quickly, but on the pass ball, we'll call it. He may ring that up as a wild pitch. Drake Baldwin heads on down to second. Won't be a stolen base, but he is in scoring position. Olsen, who had a 2-run home run his first time up against DL Hall. Swings at the slider off the plate. Bangs it foul down the line. It's 1-1. Just need a base hit here to get a little breathing room. 3-1 just doesn't seem like it's going to be enough with that Braves bullpen. That's why I think they'll try to squeeze everything they can out of Sale tonight. The 1-1. Swing, chops it over to second. That's going to be an easy out. 4-3. Braves go down. Get one man on, but that's it. We head to the bottom of the 7th. Get up and stretch, Braves country. Atlanta leads it 3-1 over Milwaukee.
All right. I can't see you. Let me hear you. All one, a two, a three. Me out to the ball game. Me out to the top. Find me something up Cracker Jack.
Chris Sale's going to go back to work. Middle of the order due up 5-6-7 for the Brewers. Cameron, your batter, lefty-righty. First pitch on the way is a slider inside. It's 1-0. Chris Sale sitting at 91 pitches. I would think the big thing they're trying to do is get him past Sal Frelick, the left-hander who stands on deck. The 1-0, 93 inside, 2-0. So a 2-0 count. Brings it. Swing, rips it into center field. That's going to get down for a base hit. Hit it right on the screws. And it's interesting to see who's warming up in the bullpen. It looks like it's going to be Raciel Iglesias coming in, whether it's here in the 7th or in the 8th. Definitely not closing. They said they were going to mix and match going forward. First pitch on the way to Frelick is swung on, chopped over to second. Ozzie has it, flips it to second base to the shortstop, Nick Allen, who's standing there to record out number 1. They get the leadoff batter, keep him out of scoring position. Frelick will go down to first. They had no chance of turning that. Frelick has pretty good speed, and it was a slow developing play. That'll bring Durbin, the right-hander, to the plate. He's 0 for 2. First pitch, swinging, pops it up high in the sky. Acuna should have a beat on that. He does. Catches it with his light blue glove. 2 down. So quickly 2 down, and that really changes things because you might be able to get Sale through this inning, which would be huge. Ortiz is the batter. He's 1 for 2. He hit that double down the right field line on a fastball high and out of the zone. His last time up, you would think he's not going to get that pitch this time. And if he does, they're going to put it a little higher and a little further out of the zone. First pitch on the way to Ortiz, lefty-righty. Fastball right down the pipe for a strike. It's 0-1. I think they'd be better off bringing Iglesias in for the 8th in a clean inning if they can do that, but that's a big if. Sale at 97 pitches. Swing, fouls it back. It's 0-2. I just think it would be better for Iglesias to come in, not having ducks all over the pond like he's had the last several times he's gone out there. Remember, some of the last few times he's been out there, they didn't expect to use him. They brought him in late after things started to unravel. But nonetheless, when you're struggling like he is, you don't want to have to work through traffic. The 0-2, foul back, we'll do it again. So an 0-2 count. Man, I missed some. I'm assuming that's from today. I missed some memberships, I guess. My apologies, Helion and James. Those may be from older ones. We use the same feed. But we'll go ahead and play it anyways. The 0-2 count. Swing lifted down the line. High and deep, but going to be caught by Eli White, and that'll end the inning. Chris Sale has pitched himself another dandy. We'll be back in a flash here on Braves Country. The Braves lead it 3-1.
Hi, y'all. It's time for Appalachian Word of the Day. The word of the day is miniature. One miniature on top of the world, the next day something happens and you're not.
Wisdom from Bob Hope. My idea of Christmas, whether old-fashioned or modern, is very simple: loving others. Come to think of it, why do we have to wait for Christmas to do that?
Yeah, hello?
This is an officer with ICE doing a routine check.
Well, I'm an American citizen.
Well, we have questions that'll determine that answer.
Okay.
How many points are scored in a football game?
6.
We want to make America
great again.
Who's the best female artist?
Taylor Swift.
All right, last question. Can you say Walmart? Sir, can you say...
Yes, I know. Walmart.
Y'all are blessed to have me. I don't give a what you talking about. You are blessed to have me. And I'll say it again and again.
My little teacher Christmas wish. May you never be too grown up to search the skies on Christmas Eve.
In the 1980s, Bob Uecker did the television show Mr. Belvedere, and one of the taping schedules had him in Hollywood during September when Milwaukee, was in a pennant race. And I remember calling him on the phone and telling him what happened in the ballgame, and he said, "Gosh, I really wish I was there. You know, it's a great gig that I've got, this TV show, but I really miss the ball games. I really do." And I knew he meant it too.
All the Tonight shows and everything, all that stuff that I did, Mr. Belvedere, and I always had to get back to baseball. And not that I didn't like all the stuff that I did, but baseball was always the bottom line.
Time to get some insurance run as the first pitch to Ozuna. Fired back cutter. Foul back, it's 0-1. The 0-1. Right down the pipe. Four-seam fastball by D.L. Hall. It's 0-2. Hall has come on and ate some innings here as the 0-2. Down and away, 1-2. It'll be Marcell Ozuna, Harris, and Ozzie. So righty, lefty, righty. Hall at 32 pitches, throws one in the dirt, 2-2. Same two teams back at it tomorrow night, 7:40 first pitch. Grant Holmes on the bump. Wednesday is a getaway day, is the 2-2. Misses high, 3-2, slider. Wednesday is a 2-10 first pitch. Full count to Marcel, the payoff pitch. Swing, lifts it into center field, not very deep. Easy catch for Churios. One away. One down. Harris, your batter. First pitch, swing, fouls it back. Slider touch out of the zone. It's 0-1. Michael Harris 1 for 2. Get a sacrifice bunt, a single. And a strikeout is right there for another strike. It's 0-2. That one was down and away. Foul back. So an 0-2 to Karras. Brings it. Swing, chops it over towards second. 4-3 put out. Quickly 2 down. Ozzie Albies will be your batter. Standing on deck now is Eli White. The infield is back and to the left. There is a huge hole on the right side of that infield. First pitch on the way to Ozzie, who laced a single earlier in the game down the left side. Swing and a miss, it's 0-1. The 0-1 swung on and ripped into left once again. Good piece of hitting by Ozzie. And it's a 2-out single. That'll keep things going here in the top of the 8th.
I'm the Wiz, I'm the Wiz, I'm the Wiz, I'm the Wiz, and nobody beats me.
That is Ozzie Albies' 1,000th career hit. So he gets high fives and hugs from Goodwin, the first base coach. He'll keep that ball. And I think that's going to be about it. That is, they're going to go get the right-hander out of the pen. We'll be back in a flash. Brewers trail the Braves 3-1. We're in the top of the 8th.
You're almost 40. Your life must be so boring. No, I risk my life weekly buying crap off of strangers on Marketplace, so I'm living on the edge.
Woman in politics is like a donkey doing calculus.
Come on, there are plenty of amazing women politicians.
Name one.
Senator Hillary Rodham Clinton?
Awful.
How is she awful?
Hates freedom.
Like in the heat with pads on, you can't take none of your stuff off.
Yeah.
Like especially like New Orleans and Tampa and Houston, like it just stick to you and it just grab you. And you're like, you either gonna die in this or you gonna hydrate. And like when you're in the cold, it's just like, hey, where my gloves at? Oh, I got my gloves. Oh, where my hat at? Oh, I got a hat. Yeah. Oh, the benches. Oh, I can see the steam coming up the benches. Sit right there. You know. So it's funner to play in the cold than the heat.
Yes.
Heat, you thinking about your life.
As sports fans, we love stats. My favorite obscure stat of all time, Braves manager Bobby Cox was ejected 162 times. That's a whole season's worth. What's your favorite stat?
How did you get past security? His fortress is impenetrable.
Door was unlocked.
Son of a...
You really feel the game through him. And while certainly he's a Brewer broadcaster, so in that sense he's a homer. He's not a mindless homer. He'll give you a fair call of the game. You'll understand when the Brewers are not doing well, but when they are doing well, then you feel the excitement through him.
Morgan, a smash up the middle, base hit to center. Here comes Gomez, around third, a throw, and the Brewers win.
I would certainly throw his name in the hat of the Mel Allen, Bob Costas, Jack Buck, Ernie Harwell, Vin Scully, because he's up there. He knows the game and he knows how to broadcast.
Hey Braves country, I'm Mac McGee. We're bringing you Atlanta Braves baseball all year long. Welcome back. The right-handed Anderson will come on, four-seam fastball. Swing and miss by Eli White. It's 0-1. Eli lined out his first time up. The 0-1. Way outside wide, 1. One count. Brings it. 81 off the edge. Sweeper misses. 2-1. Grant Anderson, 6-foot right-hander, 27-year-old out of Port Arthur, Texas. The 2-1. Another sweeper, this time missed big time, 3-1. Played his college ball at McNeese State. Drafted by the Mariners back in 2018. The 3-1 pitch, 94, right there on the outer edge, full count. Eli started taking all his gear off. He thought that was a ball, so he was heading down to first. It definitely hit the zone. And he didn't hear home plate umpire, so I don't think he was showing him up. He just didn't hear him. So a full count. Now that does mean that Ozzie will be on the move with 2 outs. Anderson comes set, the payoff pitch. Swing, rattles it foul. Do it again. See y'all talking about hockey. I realized today that the College World Series, there's no one left in there that I care about. So I canceled my cable for the summer. I'm like, I watch everything on MLB. Like, there's no real reason for me to watch any of the nonsense they're going to have on. I don't care about hockey. The NBA Finals don't intrigue me this year. The payoff pitch. Runner goes. Swing! That ball's lifted high and deep into left field. I think it's going to hold. Or will it? It will not! Get up, get up, get up, get gone! Eli White with a 2-run shot, and your Atlanta Braves have taken a 5-1 lead. 388 feet.
Kidding? It's not about muscle. It's simple physics. Calculate the velocity v in relation to the trajectory t, in which g, gravity, of course, remains a constant.
Cursed be the ground for our sake. Both thorns and thistles it shall bring forth for us.
Nick Allen will be the batter. Righty, first
For
pitch
out of the
on
ground we were taken, for the dust we are. And to the dust we shall return.
Way off the plate wide, it's 1-0. 1-0. Swing, lifted into right field. That'll die in the glove of the right fielder, Frelick, and that'll end the inning. But not for your Atlanta Braves. Put 2 on the board. We'll be back in a flash here on Braves Country.
Don't be jealous that I've been chatting online with babes all day. Besides, we both know I'm training to become a cage fighter.
Jacksonville, the community, Duval.
What the f*** was that? Oh, we losing every game next year. I'll see it. We losing every game. He's running.
I gotta get back to Jacksonville. I need to talk to somebody.
Over my dead body. Will she feel good about herself? Over my dead body. Will she have good self-esteem? How dare she? How dare she? Not on my watch. As God is my witness, she will never, ever feel good about herself online. Not today, not ever.
Was that your thought process when you wrote your comment?
I don't know what's more impressive, the fact that my coworkers can do the same thing every day and still mess it up, or that they can mess up every day and still have a job.
He's not in the Hall of Fame as an announcer because he's funny. He calls a game as good as anybody.
It is indeed an honor for me, personally, to present to my friend Bob Uecker the Fort C. Frick Award.
They told me that I was going to go in, and they asked me about doing something, right? Get up there and do my thing, right? I said, well, how long do I have? You know, tell me how long I have. Maybe 6-7 minutes. I said, I can't work like that. I can't do that. He said, what do you need? I said, 15 minutes. I can, I'll do something in 15 minutes.
My first sport was 8th grade basketball, and my dad didn't want to buy me the supporter, Johnny, to do the job. So my mother made me one out of a flour sack.
Look, I'm a good woman and I love Jesus, but honey, I'm still crazy, so please be careful whenever you address me.
Welcome back. First pitch on the way from Chris Sale, who is back out there for at least one more batter. Turang takes the first pitch. It's 1-0. The 1-0. 96 misses high and inside. 2-0. Lefty-lefty matchup. Sale just threw his 100th, now 101st pitch of the night. The 2-0 to the number 9 hitter, Turang. Inside, 3-0. This may have been a bad decision to send Sale back out there. He is twisting in the wind here. 11 strikeouts, but up over 100 pitches. The 3-0. That pitch is nowhere near the zone, ball 4. So a bad decision by Brian Snicker to send Sale back out there. He's walked the first batter in 4 pitches. And Snicker will finally come out there and make the move. I mean, that was just dumb. You can't even defend this guy. You try to defend this guy, you lost, baby. You lost. We'll be back in a flash. On this date, 1914, at the Baker Bowl, Honus Wagner becomes the second player in the history of the game to collect 3,000 hits when he doubles off Philadelphia's Erskine Mayer. Cap Anson is the only other major leaguer to amass that many hits at the time. On this date in 1946, Ted Williams hammers the farthest home run ever hit at Fenway Park. A shot estimated to have traveled 502 feet before striking the straw hat of a fan in seat 21 in the 37th row of section 42 in right field. The Red Sox will paint the seat red to commemorate the location of the Splendid Splinters blast, although the area consisted of bleachers, not individual seats at the time. And on this date in 1963, in the first Sunday night Major League game ever played, the Colt 45s extend the Giants' losing streak to 7 games, blanking San Francisco 3-0. Due to the extreme heat during the Texas summer months, baseball grants permission to play games in the evening at Cold Stadium. And that's your Braves Country Radio on this date in baseball history. Find us on YouTube and Facebook today. Welcome back. Iglesias will come on. He'll inherit a runner, and see that's the problem I got here. You're going to bring this guy in who's been struggling, and you're going to have him now with the runner on base. Why didn't you give him the clean inning of the number 9 hitter? Righty-righty matchup. First pitch on the way is a sinker. Right across the plate for a strike. It's 0-1. Sale will be responsible for the runner at first. The 0-1, 94, 0-2. 0-2 count. Braves lead at 5-1. Iglesias, swing and a miss. Strike 3. Got him with the changeup, one away. I think you're pretty much going forward. You're going to be seeing nothing but four-seam and changeup. It's going to be whether or not they can guess right. His slider, they've all but said that they're throwing that to the side. It's been hanging too much for him. First pitch on the way to Contreras is lifted high into right field. Acuna's got it. 2 down. What you may see them do is at the All-Star break try to work on it. It's a little more difficult to do that when the season's going on and you worry about the up-downs and how many innings you're putting on a guy's arm. But during the All-Star break, they'll have that time. First pitch on the way is a sinker right there. It's 0-1. The only other option would be put him on the ghost IL and have him work on it on the side there. The 0-1 count. Swing and a miss. 0-2. But they're so shallow in the bullpen at this point, it's really difficult to imagine them putting him on a ghost IL. The 0-2 count. Misses high. 1-2. If it stays 5-1 here, the Braves won't be in a closing situation, so all those guesses are out the door, but you do wonder who they would have went to as the 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and that'll end the inning. So Iglesias was able to get out of that jam. We'll be back in a flash, leading 5-1.
Are you okay? No, but I am funny, so it works out.
I mean, why waste my time? Every single freaking year, I get myself juiced up with this stupid team, and at 43 years of age and 3 kids, enough already. Let them go hurt somebody else. I mean, when am I ever going to have a chance to win a lousy freaking champion? One time! Not 20! One lousy time! Gee whiz! Every single time! Ah, come on, will you please? Can you beat the Florida Marlins one time? The Mets! The lousy Mets did it to us! Every time! Win one! I'll give it all back! I'll leave now! Okay, out of my system.
When Fred McMullen, Chicago's reserve infielder, got wind of what was happening, he demanded that Chick Gandil let him in on the fix. Now, 8 White Sox were involved, though Buck Weaver would later claim that he had not agreed to participate. The smart players demanded their money up front.
The meeting was held about 8 o'clock in the evening. I said, there's so much double-crossing stuff. If I win in the series, I wanted the money put in my hand. I went back to my room at 11:30, and the 10 grand was under my pillow. Eddie Siccotti.
Rumors of wrongdoing were everywhere. You couldn't miss it, one New York gambler said. The thing had an odor. I saw smart guys take even money on the Sox who should have been asking 5-1. Chicago sports writer Hugh Fullerton was joined in the press box by an ailing Christy Mathewson to judge if everything was on the up and up. Mathewson and Fullerton would quickly see that it was not.
Everybody in the game knew it was happening. Nobody was even pretending that it wasn't happening. No one was admitting it out loud for the public. How could you admit it for the public? What would that mean?
Welcome back. Ronald Acuna Jr. takes the first pitch for a ball. It's 1-0. 1-0, 93 right down the pipe on the inner cut. Did he go around? He did not. 2-0. 2-0 count. Acuna's already gone yard one time. Walked as well. He's batting .305 with 5 home runs, a .990 OPS, the 2-0. 94. Grabs the outer edge, sinker, 2-1. We'll see you tomorrow night, 7:40 first pitch. Braves right now 3 defensive outs away from the first win in over a week. The 2-1 misses high, 3-1. 3-1 count. It was last Saturday against the Red Sox since the Braves put a win on the board. The 3-1 swing, fouls it away. Full count. Full count to Acuna. Anderson comes set. The payoff pitch. Inside. Acuna goes down. He missed getting hit by a hair or so. Up and in. Seriously doubt there's any kind of intention there. He's getting up. He joked around with Contreras, acting like he was going to punch him. Remember, they used to be teammates and good friends when they were teammates. I'm assuming they've kept that relationship. Drake Baldwin, your batter. First pitch on way to the Drake is 94. Sizzled foul and out of play. It's 0-1. The 0-1. Kicks and fires. Swing! That ball's belted high and deep. Going back on the track. Making the catch at the wall for a loud out number 1. Acuna will race back to first. Man, it just isn't Drake's night. He got into that one. I guess just a touch underneath because that looked pretty good coming off the bat. His family's in the audience too. Looks like it's his mom that's rooting him on. I believe I heard that she lives up in that area. Is the first pitch on the way to Riley. Down and away for a ball. It's 1-0. Or, excuse me, 0-1. The 0-1. Righty-righty matchup. Misses high. 1-1. 1-1 count. Braves lead at 5-1. Pitch on the way, down and away. 2-1. Drake is from Madison, Wisconsin. That's not too far from Milwaukee. I want to say I heard that she still lives in that area. The 2-1 pitch. Inside, up and in. Did he go around? He did not. 3-1. Played his college ball at Missouri State. Man, what were the Badgers doing not recruiting him? Dylan Lee is warming up in the bullpen. That doesn't necessarily mean he would have closed it out because it is a 4-run lead, but it kind of indicates it. It's a 3-1 swing and a miss, 3-2. Full count. Anderson comes set, swing, hits it hard through the hole. It's a worm burner, and it's a base hit. All right, Riley.
You're my boy, Blue! Blue, you're my boy!
So a good hard hit ball up the middle. We've got runners on first and second, and 1 out, leading by 4. They're going to have a quick powwow out there on the mound. Anderson sitting at 23 pitches. So here we go. Matt Olson, the batter. 2 on, 1 out. The first pitch to Olson is a sweeper down and away. It's 1-0. The 1-0. Anderson brings it. Tries to grab the sweeper on the outer edge. Ball 2-2 and out. You'd love a couple extra runs here. Braves need to cruise to victory. We don't need any nail biters. We've seen enough of these one-run games. The 2-0. Swing, chops it down the first baseline. 2-1. 2-1 count. Anderson comes set. Brings it. High and outside, 3-1. So a 3-1 now. First and second, 1 out. Anything that gets down in the gap. 3-1, swing and a miss, 3-2. If he gets down in the gap, it would probably score 2. Austin Riley, not really known for his speed, but he's a very good base runner. The payoff pitch. High and out of the zone, ball 4. So he'll head on down to first. Bases are now juiced. Marcell Ozuna coming to the plate. First pitch on the way to the Big Zoo is a sinker. Outside the zone, it's 1-0. Righty-righty matchup. The 1-0. Anderson comes set. Swing, rips it up the middle. That's going to get through for a base hit. Here comes Acuna around third. He'll slide it. Sorry, not Acuna. Riley around to score and Acuna around to score. Wow. Both of them are sent home. I thought Freddie was going to hold him up, but he decided to bring it home, and the Braves lead at 7-1. But how about that? The Big Zoo coming through in the clutch here in the 9th inning. Clean that up for you. Hard hit ball up the middle. Acuna scores with these, and Riley, with the ball coming home, I thought they were going to hold him up. But they did not, and he was slid in safe. No tag attempted. That first pitch out there to Harris is well outside the zone. That is criminal. It's 0-1. Righty-lefty matchup. Runners on the corners. The 0-1. Swung on, pops it up. Shallow right field. That's not going to be deep enough to get the runner home. Throw will come home to... The throw will come home. Olson goes about maybe a third of the way and then retreats back to third. When he is slumping, you'll notice Harris has like the big winding, looping swing. That's when he gets himself in trouble, and that's what he had there. First pitch on the way to Ozzie. Right there for a strike, it's 0-1. So runners on the corners. Now 2 outs. Braves lead it 7-1. The 0-1. 93 inside. 1-1. Looked like that may have hit the zone, but we got the call. One count. Pitch on the way. Swing. Chops it down the first base line, 1-2. Braves lead at 7-1 now. Fitting number considering the 7-game losing streak. The 1-2. Misses, down 2-2. 2-2 count. Fem set. Kicks and fires. 93 outside wide, full count. Which means Ozuna will be on the move. Olsen at third. Marcel at first. The payoff pitch. Runner goes outside wide, ball 4. So he'll head on down to first. Marcel down to second. Or up to second, depending your vantage point. And the Book of Eli's got a chance to have a 2-home run game. Wouldn't that be something? Let's just kick the door in, by God. Bases loaded, 2 outs. And Anderson, does appear that Nick Mears is warm in the bullpen, but I don't know if they're going to want to. I mean, honestly, if you're the Brewers, are you going to go out there and spend another pitcher down 6, even though you know the Braves have been crumbling? I think the smarter idea for Milwaukee would be just to have Anderson take one for the team here. So Eli's got a chance to double up here. See if he can do it. 2-run shot in the 8th. First pitch on the way. It's a swing and a miss strike. It's 0-1. The 0-1. Righty-righty matchup. Bases juiced. Swing and a miss. It's 0-2. See if we can get some good luck going here. Ducks all over the pond. Book of Eli digs in. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. High heat. Top of the zone. That'll end the inning. But not for your Atlanta Braves. Open it up to a 7-1 lead. 2 come across. We'll be back in a flash here on Braves Country.
How do you make a tissue dance?
I don't know.
Put a little boogie into it.
Good evening and welcome to this free seminar on Facebook etiquette. I'm your host, and for many of you, this is going to be a simple refresher course. So let's jump right in, shall we? Because I'm sure you're familiar with the old adage of treating others the way you wish to be treated. That's certainly wonderful advice to take with you when you're on the World Wide Web. Now, before you leave a comment on a stranger's page, you might want to stop and ask yourself, would I say this to their face in real life? If the answer is no, don't do it. What would make a comment like that even worse? Well, that would be if we clicked on your profile and saw something about how much you love Jesus and how important kindness is to you. Do you see how that would be hypocritical? Just a few pointers for you next time you forget how to be a decent human being. Okay, bye.
Nothing's going on in my life. I don't have any drama. Should I make some drama?
He went in with no script. He did not have a single sheet of paper in front of him.
The guy guarding you knows exactly where you're going because little specks of flour keep dropping out.
So, Tom, you have to have at least a few notes. You know, put down your 5 or 6 best anecdotes. Nah, I'll say whatever occurs. And he did.
I remember Gene Mock doing things to me at Philadelphia. I'd be sitting there and he'd say, grab a bat and stop this rally. Send me up there without a bat and tell me to try for a walk. Look down at the third base coach for a sign and have him turn his back on you.
You know, all those guys are sitting behind me, and they're telling me to keep going. All the players. Yogi was behind me laughing. I can hear those guys really laughing.
My kids used to do things that aggravate me, too. I'd take them to a game, and they'd want to come home with a different player.
Vampires suck your blood because of the vitamin D, because they can't go out in the sun themselves. Ever think about that? No, you didn't, because you only think about yourself.
Welcome back, Dylan Lee on here to close it all out. First pitch on the way, misses to Reese Hoskins. It's 1-0. Braves lead it 7-1. The 1-0. Misses high and out of the zone. 2-0. Count. Swing and a miss. 2-1. Bugs, we're not going to talk about that right now. The 2-1. Swing and a miss. 2-2. The 2-2. Slider in the dirt. 3-2. Payoff pitch from Lee. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 1 down. Scott Blewett, by the way, was traded back to Baltimore for cash considerations, in case you missed that over the weekend. Essentially what the Braves paid for him the first time, they're sending right back to Baltimore. First pitch on the way is 95 off the edge. It's 0-1. Still doesn't explain why he's gone and Montero's here. The 0-1. 96 at the knees. That's a strike. Called a ball. Wow, was that a bad call. 1-1. Tire ball in the zone. They're not focusing on it on the television cast because of the big score. The 1-1. Swing and a miss. 1-2. Typically, they're replaying it and showing exactly where that ball landed. They didn't do any of that. 1-2 count. Swing, pops it up. High into center. Drifting over. Making the catch is Harris. For out number 2. Looks like we're going to get this win without needing an incredible catch by Michael Harris. He hasn't really been tested out there tonight. That's a rarity. There's usually at least one play that makes you drop your jaw. Maybe he'll steal a home run from Frelick here. First pitch on the way is 94 at the knees. It's 0-1. That's honestly why I'll never be willing to trade Michael Harris. I love watching that guy's glove. And if we have just a mid to below mid batter, that's fine. Bat him ninth, but we're going to have a gold glove center fielder for a long time. Pitch on the way is down below the knees. It's 1-1. Lefty-lefty matchup. The 1-1. Down and in. 2-1. You can build a championship team with a center fielder that has that kind of glove and doesn't have a great bat. It's really hard to do the opposite. The 2-1. Swing and a miss. 2-2. Man, he's just so fun to watch defensively, and I think that gets lost because so many people get into how many home runs you hit. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Dylan Lee, have we found our closer? 1, 2, 3. They go down in order. Braves win. Braves win. Your Atlanta Braves win. Whiskey for my men. Beer for my horses. What an overall great effort by your Atlanta Braves. Ronald Acuna Jr. goes 1 for 3 with a home run. Austin Riley goes 3 for 5 with 2 runs scored. Matt Olson 1 for 3 with the 2-run home run. It's a big home run. But you got to give it to Chris Sale. 7 innings, 11 punchies, 1 earned run. He did it. and your Atlanta Braves are off the schneid. Let's see if we can turn this into some kind of a winning streak. But to get there, you got to win your second one, and that starts tomorrow. Grant Holmes on the bump tomorrow, 7:40 pitch. Have a great night, Braves country. Also, look at the clock. We did this in about 2.5 hours. We'll see you mañana.
There's something kind of about a kid that's never played baseball.
It is the American game. That's just what it is. And actually, I can feel like I'm 15 when I'm talking baseball. I'm watching baseball. This is it. It does this. It can do this to any. It brings you back.